All right, we are back. We're going to see how this actually does. Right now, I'm streaming 35,000 kbs, which is more than enough for YouTube, so we'll see. It looks like everything's working out as far as I can tell, and I think we're good. Kind of had to reset everything, but I think that's going to be fine. So, hey everyone, hope you guys are all having a good day here. Sorry about the little weirdness. I'm not entirely sure what's going on because I know for a fact my Wi-Fi is working very, very well, so I don't know where the lag is coming from. And hey, Crypto Ricky 123, multi-stacker, happy to see you guys here. There we go. Okay, yeah. So basically, remember, I can tell every time I like what my streaming speed is. It's this little thing down here. And right now it's set to like 30,000 or 35,000 because I'm multi-streaming to like YouTube, Twitch, Kick, Trovo, all those other sites, right? So I'm streaming to all these places right now, so I can see the speed working out. But for whatever reason, YouTube just wasn't getting the signal. Like Twitter was getting the signal, YouTube wasn't getting the signal. So I'm not entirely sure what's going on there. We're gonna try this one more time and see how it works out. I got something in my head though. There it goes. Whatever that was. Probably from fucking around with my camera. There we go. But yeah, so we'll see how this works out. But anyway, I'm just going to do a flat reset. Hey, everybody. Hope you guys are all having a chill day. Sorry for the initial mess up there. But it looks like the stream is coming along well. Everything's working out. Knock on wood here. Anyway, so there's a lot of stuff we're going to be talking about here today. The first thing I want you guys to do before I forget here, there's a few cigars that we were talking about. The blue one right here was A for Don Pepin. I know you guys can't see. I'm not going to do my camera again because that seemed to mess up something here a few minutes ago. Don Pepin. This is the Don Pepin Series Double J right here. That one seems to be good as well. That is going to be B. The first one was A. C is literally the one that says C on it. I know it's hard to see. Get a C. I know it's hard to see, but it's basically a C. I know it's nice and orange, red colored right there. And the third one right here, or the fourth one, is going to be something that looks like a family. It's going to be the one that I had in the box right here. La Antiguas, I can't pronounce that thing, but it's going to be right here. It has a little red band on the bottom, and it has like a nice large band on top, which you don't really see too often these days. So a lot of things going on there. Let me know what you guys think. I'll give it like another 2 minutes, and then I'll start to light one up here, and we can kind of get started smoking. Looks like A is in the lead, followed by C, and then we got B, and then D. So pretty soon we'll see what you guys vote on. Vote on whatever one you guys want. There is no wrong answer here because eventually I'm going to smoke all of these. So just so you guys know. And hey, have I heard of XCH? I don't think I have heard of Chia. I don't think I have. I mean, the ticker sounds familiar, but not the name Chia. That's the thing I'm thinking of right there. And however, I know no more. What do you call no more? Oh my God, no more lag. I hope not no more lag. That's the crazy thing. I hate. A lot of times it will be my wife's fault or my fault. But when it's YouTube's fault, I really get annoyed because what I can see right now is YouTube actually telling me, it says, suggestion, the stream's current bitrate is higher than the recommended bitrate. We recommend you use a stream bitrate of 68. So that means 6,800, right? I'm blasting it with like 35,000 right now. But there's no bad thing as far as putting too much in there, as far as I know. But yeah, so we're going to see what happens here. Elon Musk just tweeted at real Donald Trump, conversation with Donald Trump in 45 minutes. So it is coming along here. Let's hope that everything stays good with them. But I'm going to give Loki another treat just so you guys can see him all excited and happy. Oh, excuse me. Hey. See, if you just pretend like, oh yeah, oh wow, look at that little thing up in the sky. Oh, actually, you're being a good boy right now, aren't you? Oh, you just want to steal it when I'm looking? Okay. Yeah. Oh, did you want another one? He can get one more, but he's gonna get a break for like an hour. Oh, this is a meaty one too, so you can see that there. Damn. All right. Funny enough, he only does it with dog treats because he knows he's technically the only one that can technically eat them because I'm not going to eat dog treats, right? However, if he does that with any human food, he kind of just sits and waits, which is kind of funny because he knows this is all a game. All right, but anyway, Loki's having a good day here. Hopefully you guys are having a good day too. It looks like A has one right here with 55%. It kind of got mushed around a little bit here after 38 votes. I appreciate you guys voting on the cigars. And it looks like we're going to be going with this one right here, the Don Pepin Garcia Original. So let me light this up very fast. Oh, and oh snap. Oh, phew. You know what? I don't have a cutter on me, but yes, I do. It's in the box. So I'm going to take it. Now, this is a cheaper cutter here, but you know what? It doesn't matter all too much. We're going to take what we can have. Or take what we're given, I guess. Oh, interesting. So you cut it, but there's a back to it. So that means the tobacco kind of just falls. Interesting. Okay. Let's cut this up here. Wait a second. Is that really the way it's supposed to be? This feels so wrong to me, but okay. It seems like a very flat cut. Yeah, a very shallow cut here. But it's cool you get to open it back up and you just, drop it out into the thing here. So, we wipe it off. Let me do a cold draw here just to see how it tastes. Oh, that's actually good quality right there. Ooh. A little chocolate in there. Ooh, okay. All right. Let me light this sucker up, and then we'll get started off here with the news. And if you guys don't know, the main topic of today, of course, is going to be Bitcoin and that type of stuff and what's going on in the markets overall. But Elon Musk is interviewing Donald Trump in about 45 minutes, and that's also going to be a big focus here. So we'll have about 45 minutes of good talking time, a good cigar session. I don't really have any alcohol with me right now, but I do got tea, so we'll see how that goes. And I should have put sugar in that tea, but oh well, it's okay. Ready? Here we go. Oh, light. There we go. I like what's happening here. I like it. So far this is a pretty pleasant smoke. Nice draw. You know I'm not smart enough to give you all the flavor notes and stuff. All I can taste is a little bit of chocolate in here, I think. Maybe a little bit of cedar? Could it be cedar, I think it is. I'm not sure. But whatever it is, it's pretty darn tasty, so I'll leave it at that. It's a good cigar. Now, let's get started with all the news and stuff, and happy to see all of you guys here. The dog treat did it. Puff puff pass. What do you call funny enough, I did smoke a little bit of weed a few weeks ago and it felt great. not even smoking, I drank it. I drank it at the Bitcoin Nashville event. I know one of you guys was asking about how it was. It was absolutely fantastic. If you guys have any questions about the Bitcoin Nashville event, I'm still happy to answer them. It was definitely an event I'm going to go to next year. And even better, it's in Vegas next year, which means things are going to be crazy. So, also something I'd recommend. Doggo is very, very bullish. Slowly selling my crude oil up from 72.9 to 79.66. And hey, Larry, I'll talk about oil in a little bit here. I'm still holding on, but I'm not entirely sure when I should start selling because, so many of my oil stocks have really just been long-term dividend holds because I know oil was going to be strong. But the fact that oil is this strong is kind of insane. So I'm pretty happy with the results there. Let me get more comfortable here. There we go. Situated, lean back a little bit. There we are. Get the cigar back in my hand here. All right, sweet tea is the drink. I love sweet tea. I didn't put any sugar in here. Normally I'm dieting. You guys know that. I'm down 20 pounds though. I mean, it's hard to tell because you guys don't really see much besides this little section of me. But I am down 20 pounds, which is very, very nice. I think being sick kind of did that, and just walking around a lot more does it, but it's been pretty nice. All right, and then, not having as much flavorful food. Seasoning, yes. Sugar and, soy sauce on it? No, unfortunately, not much. All right. Am I looking into the international Bitcoin conferences? I might eventually. I think next year is going to be the year I try to go as out of the country as possible. I'm just not entirely sure just yet. I almost was going to go to one in Singapore, but I guess they didn't have any more media tickets there or something like that. So I'll check out for next time. Plus, it does kind of add up to go to all these events here. Heck, I was supposed to go to Vegas this weekend, if you guys didn't know, but there were no more media passes for Rare Evo. And so I was going to go to Rare Evo, then hop on another plane, go to Philadelphia to visit a friend, and then come back here. Well, now I'm just going to go visit my friend, right, in Philadelphia, and I'm going to be gone, I think, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I forget. I think it's something like the 17th or the 21st or something. So when is that actually there? Hold on a second here before I get to the news. So it's going to be from this Saturday to this upcoming Wednesday. I'm going to be gone. Now, I'll still be putting out lots of videos. I'll still be having a good time talking with you guys. But I'm just, I'm not going to be back on my computer, obviously. So we'll see how that works out. I may... maybe I'll bring my laptop. I haven't used my laptop in ages. But I'll see if I can bring it along and see if that does anything. I should just buy a new laptop. That's what I really should do. Anyway, as far as the news today, the market was actually really flat and really boring. There was some volatility, but nothing happened today. Oh, they already moved over to the markets. Let's go over here to US. It's like freezing, but not freezing. I can't tell exactly what's happening. There we go. Okay, CNBC is a little bit backed up right now. But okay, the Dow was down about 0.36%, the S&P 500 up 0.00%, and the NASDAQ up 0.21%. A whole bunch of nothing. Also, check out the Russell 2000. That's not one of the three major indices, but it is important that thing was down when a lot of other stuff wasn't here. So again, not much happened, but it is notable here. SpaceX repeatedly polluted waters in Texas this year, regulators found. I wouldn't be surprised with all the rocket fuel and stuff like that, but we'll see. The other news here was Harris economic policy draws in Biden White House alum Brian Deese. I don't know. I haven't been a fan of, Biden's economic plan so far, so I don't know. I'm just hoping that things can get better. As far as everything else, I don't know. Not too much going on here. U.S. crude oil rallies more than 4%, tops $80 as Pentagon sends more forces to the Middle East. Who would have thought the Middle East is going to cause some issues here for the rest of us? So we'll see what happens. We've been waiting for this Iran stuff for a while. If you guys didn't know, we've been talking about this for like over a week now. Waiting for Iran to strike back, and they're just not. So I wonder if they're going to do something so over the top that we're going to have to like go to war, or if they're just going to like push us to the limit and be like, okay, we're done. We were just fooling around. We're just joshing you. I don't know. This was just a funny meme I saw today from the Bitcoin magazine. Spot Bitcoin ETFs buying up the dip. So far, they have been loading up on Bitcoin. Why? I honestly don't know, more than the fact that they think it might not be this cheap forever, so they just want to get in at a very cheap level, But this is also their first time in a lot of the ETFs for buying up a load of Bitcoin. So maybe they feel like they just don't have enough, and if Bitcoin does rally in the next few months, maybe they won't have to buy into the rally. They will have already accumulated enough Bitcoin where they don't really have to go crazy with that type of stuff, right? So we'll see. One last thing here before we start getting into the Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and Bitcoin stuff here. Excuse me. Binance says Venezuela platform is being hit by access restrictions. So the Venezuelan government has blocked various websites, and it looks like Binance is just getting caught up inside of this. But if you guys own Bitcoin and you guys are watching me from Venezuela, your state's kind of pulling some funny business on you, so you might want to get out in a little bit here. So, now. Live conversation on X with Donald Trump with me at 8 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. That's about a half an hour from now. That's all I was going to show you guys from Elon Musk. You got Donald Trump over here. Donald Trump is apparently back on Twitter. Whether you guys like him or hate him, this is just news because I thought he had sworn off of it because he was doing his own Truth Social app. And I don't know where Truth Social is going in the future. I really don't know. But I looked at him today, literally like an hour ago, because I was like, oh, that means Donald Trump must be back on Twitter if he's going to do Twitter Spaces, right? Well, look at this. He posted an hour ago, posted 3 hours ago, posted 4 hours ago, posted 5 hours ago, 6 hours ago, 6 hours ago, 6 hours ago, 9 hours ago, retweet, 6 hours ago, and then the last time was August. So all of a sudden, he's starting to tweet like crazy. I don't know what this means for the overall markets, but what you guys can see here, I know it's going to be hard to spot very fast. There's a whole bunch of... There you go. Elon, oh, that's mine. Actually, never mind. Elon Trump pre-game show. What should Elon ask? Oh, and there was a couple more I just saw. I guess mine overtook that spot here. And Roberto Blake has one too. So a lot of fun stuff going on today, guys. I'm going to be very interested to see exactly what they talk about. It's supposed to happen in a half an hour. Are politicians or Elon Musk usually on time? No, something is usually going on in the background that we just don't know about. That being said, when it goes live, will be live. I'll be playing it for you guys to hear, and that'll be that. And you'll see me basically just smoking in the corner. We'll hear it in the background. You know, you'll see me smoking and stuff like that. And then we'll kind of be paying attention to some of the markets as they're speaking. Long story short, nothing has changed over the last 24, 48 hours since we last talked with each other. You still have the weekly charts being bearish. You still have the daily charts being bearish overall. Even though we have a little bit of stochastic and RSI bullishness, it's just not enough to get us going at this point. 4-hour chart still bearish here. Excuse me, had a little bit of a pop-off actually, but we actually just got like demolished on the way back down. And then the 1-hour chart here kind of shows that volatility just a little bit better. Look at this. Actually, let's actually take off the colored candles. So we had a pretty big drop, you know, going into yesterday, right? We managed to bounce off early this morning, get crushed back down, pop back up, crushed back down again, and now we're trying to come back up again. This is whale games going on right now. This is not for you or I's and normal people out there. We're not causing this type of stuff. You're definitely seeing some really cool movement here. That means that every time they try to push us down, there's like a really good support level down here, kind of around $58,000. And every time we get too close, somebody is just pushing us back up and up and up. And when you look at this, like look at the 4-hour chart. Look at some of these oscillators right now. Bullish, bearish, bearish. Only the stochastic is bullish. The change of character right now is bearish. There's not really a lot of good stuff here, if you ask me. And hey, Crypto Ricky, Vegas meetup for members next year for Bitcoin Nashville. Oh yeah, you better believe it. But I'm thinking of trying to go to Money 2020 this year, and that's in October. I think that's the end of October. So I will be there for that, so we can meet up there. And I'm also thinking of going to another event here before I forget here. I'll answer in a second. Another event in November, I think, in Vegas. So I'll be in Vegas like quite a few times. But anyway, you are seeing the 4-hour chart get a little bit choppy here, but overall still bearish. So a lot of what you guys are looking at is not the best entry positions. The only way you guys might be getting excited here is if you guys are looking to short. And shorting right now has definitely been, again, if you take the 1-hour short here when the 4-hour was bearish, everything was bearish, you can see how that gave you a great opportunity back into the support level right over here. Again, I'm the guy that sells right here. I tend to not sell at the right time. That's okay. But at this point, there's just a lot of volatility there. One of the cool things, though, from today, look at Ethereum. Ethereum's trying to make a little bit of a comeback today. You know, look at Bitcoin, not really doing much. Ethereum making a little bit more of a rebound here. It looks like Ethereum may be able to make it back up towards $2,800 before it gets rejected back down, unless it's going to try to really give it a more robust move. But you know, give it a day or two, you may see Ethereum here as long as it continues to go sideways and not down. You could see the MACD, stochastic, and RSI all pointing upwards for a move back above $3,000. That would happen sometime this weekend. It would not happen tomorrow, but you're seeing it make a pretty good move and a good case for that. For me, though, we really don't know next half an hour if we're going to be able to just really confirm that big move right there. If we're lucky, it may happen as soon as tomorrow or Wednesday, and that's partially because we got the CPI data coming out and all that other type of stuff. But the economic data may be a catalyst for Ethereum and some of the other tokens, like, you know, Solana's come back up a little bit, Dogecoin, you know. We're still down overall with a lot of these tokens. I mean, we're down a lot with a lot of these tokens. That being said, we may find some opportunities here to get a rebound, but most tokens are still oversold compared to where they were just a few weeks ago or even a few months ago. I'm looking to dollar cost average some of these, but not too crazily here, not too crazy. Here's oil. This is the daily oil stocks or oil prices. You can see how they just gone all the way back up. Here's the weekly chart. Why are my technicals not? Oh, this is not the right technical chart. Okay, never mind. But you guys can see oil is like, you know, it's about to pop or about to crash one way or the other. We're about to have a breakout here. And in this circumstance, let me go back over here to the normal Bitcoin prices. Let's get rid of some of those. There we go. And let's go over to this oil stock. There we go. You can see we bounced right off support and we kind of launched back up here. we're at a pretty big level of resistance amongst the 50 and the 20, and it seems like we're getting rejected a little bit here on the weekly chart. But if you look at it here from the daily chart, I mean, look at this. We broke above the 20, 50, and 200 very easily, very, very easily. And what does that mean? It might mean that my oil stocks are still doing okay. Maybe. No, they're still at resistance level. So what am I talking about? Oil's still doing okay. It's not doing bad. It's not doing crazy, but I mean, they're fine. Where's my other oil stocks? Let's see. I don't own as much Chevron as I should, but I own it. It's at support though, and I own too much ConocoPhillips. I need to shed some of this off, and that's kind of at the support level too. Something about ExxonMobil. The market loves ExxonMobil. I love ExxonMobil because I think ExxonMobil has the most claws in the United States government. That's like the only reason I really buy them up. That being said, there are other oil stocks out there like Schlumberger and whatnot. But for me, ExxonMobil always seems to have the best lobbying effort in DC. Let's just call it a lobbying effort. They usually have the best lobbying effort. Intel, I don't know if you guys are touching this yet. I'm kind of still avoiding this, but it's like stopped falling for a few days, you could say. So that's also one thing. NVIDIA having a small pop-up here. Overall momentum is still down, but I may be looking at a little bit of a day trade here or a swing trade coming up, I would say on Tuesday or Wednesday, where you're looking at NVIDIA breaking back up and heading back up here towards 119. This would be about a $10 play. If you guys want to go into this one, just keep an eye on NVIDIA for tomorrow and the day after. You might see it break out, and that breakout could really get you going here for a stronger move. The weekly charts are still bearish here, so I'm not really thinking of something like all-time high, but I am thinking about something probably just back up here towards the 119 to 120 range. So if you guys are interested in that play, keep an eye on it. I'm going to be putting a members video out about this one actually fairly soon, so get ready for that one. There we go. Oh, and last thing here, dollar index is still overall coming down, which is kind of nice to see. Not coming down as much as we want to, but it's been a strong bounce, and we're going to see what happens over the next few days. All right, 15-minute chart right here. See, I'm coughing, but I feel like it's a reflux, but I have nothing to cough about. Oh, Crypto Ricky, let me show you this. Big smoke. There we go. So this is in November, so there we go. This just tastes so good. All right, so Big Smoke Las Vegas is from the 1st to the 2nd. It's in the Paris, Las Vegas. I'm going to try to go to this one here, and it's basically a bunch of cigar lovers get together and we smoke, basically. There's the VIP admission, the general admission. I know that one of the prices is kind of cut off right here. And so Friday, November 1st and Saturday, November 2nd. Yeah, I'm thinking of going to this one. I don't exactly know what all the... Oh yeah, I'm not a seminar type of guy, but it's there, I guess. Oh, these packages are all sold out, so there's no more. It's all waitlist here. People really love their cigars and stuff. All I want is a ticket. I'm nobody special here. But anyway, this is also something I'm going to be going to. So if I pull up a calendar, there we go. And I zoom in on this a little bit here for you guys. August, September. I'll be in Vegas from, I believe, the 26th through the 30th. And then I'll also be back home for all of one day to come back from the 1st to the 2nd. I think I should just stay in Vegas for that entire time. But that means Loki's at home all that time as well. And I don't have my sister to watch him in October. Huh. He might be in a fancy doggy daycare for a while. Yeah, he's going to be a fancy doggy daycare. Yeah, because I'm in Vegas for like a whole week. Yeah. Well, there we go. I guess that's how you plan stuff out and you figure it out. But yeah, so that's one of the things going on here. I'm going to remove the stochastic so we have some more room to kind of watch this out. There seems to be an attempt at a breakout happening. It's just every time we get back up there, obviously we get rejected. We need to close out on the daily chart or the 4-hour chart for me to get really excited, but I really say the daily chart because I think this might have actually been a 4-hour chart breakout. It's still messed up. So I'm really looking forward to a 4-hour breakout here and seeing if it holds, but primarily a daily one. The daily closes in like just a few minutes here, so we'll see. And hey, Coin Phase, you realize, don't worry about it. What do you call it? We had an issue when I first started this stream up a while ago. It was kind of being a little bit kind of funky here with me. And YouTube wasn't getting the signal, but like TikTok was, Twitter was, Facebook was. They were all getting signals, but not YouTube. But now we're fine. And hold on a second here, guys. I'm going to give one another treat to Loki. This really is a good stick. I highly recommend it. I'll show you guys what it is in a little bit. Up-a-doo. Oh, look at you. Okay, yeah, you good. Ow. I gotta trim those freaking claws. All right. Anyway, you do see this breakout trying to occur right now in Bitcoin. We'll see if it works out. You gotta change your character in the 15, so you are looking at a pretty you're looking at a long here. I wouldn't say it's the most lucrative long. 30 minutes is just turning over. 2 hours fine, 2 hours fine, 4 hour. 4 hours really getting the issues right now. And based off the price action so far today, it doesn't seem like it'd be worth it to take a position here. Guys, if you guys are part of the Telegram group, I told you guys this morning I closed my shorts. So I'm kind of happy with where my positions are, and I think it's just better to just wait this out. Even if it means I don't get to buy at the very bottom, if I buy the breakout, I'll still be pretty happy overall with where I'm at. But I still want to give the weekly just a couple more days to see if we can get a push up here. My fear is that we have the catalyst going on with the CPI data here pretty soon, and that's where we start to fall apart. So here. Knock some cigar ash off me on accident. Hit this little whatever holds my speaker. There we are. And I tell you, yeah, it comes in at 5 o'clock Pacific time, 8 o'clock Eastern time here for the Elon Musk call. All right, let me close this poll very fast. All right, let me tap the ash off on this one actually too. I want to relight this bottom part just to make sure, because I'm going to be talking here for a second. All right, so what do we have coming up? Now it's August, so we're looking at August 14th. That means Wednesday, always a Wednesday. We're going to have CPI data coming out, which means Wednesday is going to be a very brutal day for the markets. It's either going to be very good or very bad. The last few have been kind of iffy for us, and let's not lie. That being said, you know, it's going to be just a fun time to trade. If we're looking at which way the market is moving right now, it is bearish. So you guys may be more in touch with your bearish side at this point here. All right, there we go. Hey, Martin, happy to see you as always right there. Hopefully the Netherlands is doing pretty well. We need Bitcoin to pump and hold to 64 to 65K. I mean, I kind of want it just to blast up to 67K and then hold there. That way it's a really firm breakout. The way I'm looking at this market right now, I'm just like, we're so volatile that a lot of the support and resistance levels that we normally think of, we almost have to think of the next one on top or the next one below it, because those ones can be easily broken with all the volume being traded at this point. Like, look at this very fast. I know Bitcoin's one thing, and Bitcoin can be kind of volatile, but right now, if we're being honest, Bitcoin is up around 1.2%. It's had a great year, but right now it's just not up that much as far as today. You go over here, Ethereum is up like a whopping 7%. Solana is up 4%. Dogecoin is up 7% right now. I mean, just look at that. Let me see what's going on with Dogecoin here. We talked about a bounce. Now are we going to have a dip? That'll be the issue here. But you can see the bounce going on from there. You can see WIF having a 6% up day. Miro's up 9%. It doesn't even look like it because of all the nasty volatility we've had here. Milady token's up 9%. Arbitrum is up 7% here. Ape is up 7%. Poor Ape token. I had a lot of this stuff, and I still kind of own quite a bit of it. I don't know if I'm just going to take this as a tax loss or what. I'm hoping that altcoin season brings me back above like $1. I think my average right now was $1, and I just stopped buying it once it broke down. But yeah, below $1 basically right there. So we'll see what happens here. I may just have to long it with a meme coin or something. Bitcoin Cash up 9%. You can see how a lot of tokens right now are making some nice. I mean, look at Bitcoin Cash right here. I mean, look at that. Just beautiful, beautiful. Bitcoin's kind of being the lazy one right now, and that's okay. Maybe Bitcoin just waiting for this Elon Musk thing to start here, and we'll see where it goes. You know? Matic is up 5%. Anything else? What is that? Pendle's up 10% so far. So look at that. Well, these things are just going. They're just getting started right now. Mog is up 10% after dipping, it looks like, earlier today. Ocean's up 5. Popcat's up about 4-5. RLC's up 7. I mean, we're seeing some pretty good moves across the board here. Even if Bitcoin just kind of stagnant, you're seeing them. I think I literally talked about this morning, right as the market was opening. I put out a video. I did. I was talking about how you're starting to see a lot of altcoins have daily bullish technicals, but the weeklies are still bearish. So you might see a pretty good short-term pop, and they might die back down. But if they continue going sideways up until September, that's where you have an opportunity for altcoins to really start flowing and having everything kind of aligned. Say buy, buy, buy. You see the rocket ships kind of take off. Kind of like what we saw back in February and March. That's kind of what we're seeing the bottom of right now. If you guys want to try to buy that, but it's hard to buy the bottom. I'd rather just buy the beginning of a major move. And hey, Scandalous, happy to see you very, very much. Let me know if you have any questions as always. And then multi-second bear trap. I mean, imagine shorting a Bitcoin at $50,000 or shorting at $49,000. You are just screwed right now. Bitcoin to 100K and hover around 2050K by election. Oh my God, what do you call? I would love to see that. It's just Bitcoin's always a little bit more testy than that. But if you want to go off of the basics here, I've been very happy with how useful this thing has been. You know, resistance, resistance, resistance. We got one up here around $104,000. I think this one may be something more of a short-term one, kind of like what we saw right over here. Then we kind of continue going up, and this is where the magic zone is. This is where you see a lot of people like, uh-oh, what's happening? Is it the top? Is it not the top? We'll have to wait and see. It's going to be a wild one, that's for sure. I don't know anybody that knows that for, like, you know, I really believe them as far as like this is going to be the top, but I believe we're at least going to get to 100,000. That's about as nice as I can be for most people out there, because I'm terrified of being the guy that says, hey, we're going to 500,000, and that poor guy is waiting for 500,000 while Bitcoin comes all the way back down to like $40,000 or $50,000 for the next crypto bear market or something. I'm like, dude, you gotta adjust. And hey, Tim, happy to see my man Tony. Happy to see you as well. 100x long tonight, Michael. Oh no, not this. What do you call? Not this. What do you call? Sorry, I'm starting a little bit here. I really want to see what this Donald Trump thing does to the markets here, if it does anything. But I do believe we should have some moves here, and I believe Elon will ask a little bit about Bitcoin, but I think Elon's main approach here is going to be something more of free speech. You kind of see how the Europeans are picking a fight with Elon right now. More about those topics, about, you know, freedom, constitutional issues, I would say, are more of what I expect Elon Musk to talk about with Donald Trump. We are going to probably hear a little bit about crypto. We will see. But right now, I don't know. I don't know how much it's going to impact the markets. I expect I know it's going to impact the markets, but by how much and which direction, I don't know that for a fact yet. At this point, you're seeing assets start to be a little bit more bullish, but overall pretty bearish, right? The weekly charts for Bitcoin, bearish. The daily charts for Bitcoin, bearish. But, you know, give it a couple more days, you know, we're looking pretty good. And when we're looking at these volatile times, just because Bitcoin is bearish doesn't mean it can't pop up 10, 15%. We've already seen that over the past, few days, haven't we? And hey, Mark, I'm doing well. And hey, Arlick, happy to see you. I'm smoking a cigar for the first time in a while. My throat seems to be handling it pretty well. I have a slight cough right now, but it's not bad. So we'll see. I'm probably not gonna. Well, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Like, I'm coughing. Like, I feel like I should be coughing up something, but there's nothing to cough up. So I feel like it's just a reflex because I've been having allergies over the past few days, which have been horrible. My neighbor said it was like hay fever or whatever it's called. I don't know what it's called. Something seasonal, and I'm experiencing it, I guess. Let's see. 100x dump tonight. Oh my god, what do you call it? Yeah, that'd be that'd be interesting. I mean, if I was to guess where the market's going on now, it feels like we're trying to have a fake out where we go up and we get rejected back down here for a larger move, and then we start moving back up. So I guess I'd rather be long right now than short, but the long would only go for another, what, 10 to 15 hours or so, you know? You can see the 1 hour doing okay, you can see the 2 hours starting to do okay here, the 4 hour doing okay, not bullish just yet, but it's there, you know? Daily still bearish, the weekly still bearish. All of it is a small move within a larger move I expect to happen sometime later on this week. Again, we have CPI data coming out Wednesday. That's really going to be the catalyst here. And how long do we have? Basically, we got 13 minutes left, but I have to keep on checking Donald Trump's page because as soon as he does this little thing, he launches it. I feel like everybody and their parents are going to be like looking this thing up. So I think Twitter may be kind of slow going into this, or at least that's my thoughts. I will wait and see, and we can all kind of judge to see what's going on. Because I see over here on Raw News Alerts, let me open this page up very fast for you guys. Right? You see Elon Trump pre-game show, Donald Trump space. Oh, here it is, Donald Trump space. Oh. We can listen to it. Okay. Look at that. So we're in here. We can clip a moment. That's kind of cool to see. And then you got a bunch of people in here. You can't see the people because, like, there you go. That's the people right there. Right? Everybody's a listener except for Donald Trump because he's the host. We all have check marks here, so we're all really cool, I guess. But you get what I'm saying. So let me. Oh, wait. There's noise coming from that thing. Holy shit! Oops. Hold on. I gotta really make sure that wasn't really like a bad, like a really famous music, I guess. Let me put this on my head. Techno music? Oh, I got techno music. Let's see. Oh, that is some weird techno music. Okay. Well, instead of that techno music, I'm just going to have me talking for now. And as soon as they start to talk, I will gladly put their voices back on. But I can't have that music on because YouTube may frown upon it and may turn off my channel before we're ready to go. So I don't want that to happen. So, we're going to listen to my pleasant voice, right? And hey, Mark, happy to see my man. Antihistamine, my friend. Oh, I'll try that then. Yeah, I'm gonna have to definitely try that. There's geez, being sick was one thing. I can kind of handle being sick, but allergies are a whole different thing because it feels like it attacks my system in a totally different way. Meanwhile, the cigar is great. Probably not the best for my throat right now, but it's great to smoke a cigar. We'll see how that goes though. Mike on the vape now for 8 months. Oh yeah, what do you call? I haven't really gotten into vaping. The main reason I think is, as far as what my friends have told me, any vapes that I've ever had, they were never the best quality because I never like really wanted to invest in it in the first place. They're like, anytime I vape, I get a really bad headache. Right, minutes afterwards, not hours afterwards, not like days afterwards. Like literally minutes after I vape, I get a horrible headache. So I've just never decided to vape. What I do for the natural highs of life is I may smoke some weed every now and again. Normally I'll get gummies because I prefer gummies. I have cigars. I maybe go through 3-4 cigars a week. And then I drink juices. So very juicy juice. I don't know, like cucumber detox things. Nothing like it's just different types of juice and powders and stuff like that, which does right for me, I guess. But yeah, I've never been able to get into vaping. Vaping has always gave me headaches. I just don't know why. Sounds like AI generated techno weirdness. It did sound pretty weird, and I'm listening to it now. It still is kind of funky right now. Yeah, I feel weird. There's something to cough up. If you, sorry. Markets like stability, like stability, probably in both stocks and crypto. I still don't get why crypto bros are Trump fans. I think it comes down to the fact from what everybody that I talked to, especially at Bitcoin Nashville, Austin, Texas, with a consensus. People don't really want the government prying into their crypto, and they're trying to make sure it's as private as can be, realistically as private as it can be, right? And the Democrats, rightfully or wrongfully, have really aligned them with like the Elizabeth Warren wing and the Gary Gensler side of things, and that really makes people not like them. Imagine you're that poor guy that, like me, that's been owning XRP for years and years and years, and the only reason that they really haven't done anything great is because of, people like Gary Gensler. So I think it's more of the fact that the regulatory bodies that really aren't, that are kind of making up laws as they go along, they've aligned themselves with the Gary Genslers. And if Gary Gensler was acting like more with the Republicans, I think you would see a lot of crypto bros flocking to the Democratic Party. But right now, again, we saw with all the issues around the Bitcoin ETF with Gary Gensler, it's more of a Gary Gensler, Elizabeth Warren thing, and maybe a few people on the Democratic side who want to ban cryptocurrencies like Sherrod Brown. Most other ones, I believe, are going to give crypto a fair look. But the vocal anti-crypto people typically are Democrats, and so that makes people just be like, yeah, I like you, but you're not really pro-crypto. I can't really, get behind you. I think it's something subtle like that. No vape edibles? Oh, yeah. Excuse me. If Kamala said she was pro-crypto and would start a U.S. Bitcoin and Ethereum reserve, would you vote for her? I don't think so, but that's only because I wouldn't believe her. If I believed her, I think the door would be open for me voting for her, but then I kind of go through the economics, stuff like that. I'm like, I don't know. I would say the door would be open at that point. Right now, the door is not even open for me voting for her. I'd probably rather vote for like RFK or something. Vape no good. Definitely don't start a bad habit. Buy the expensive ones. Help kick the cigs. Oh, what do you call? I don't know. I never got into cigarettes. I smoked cigarettes once or twice in my life. I was hanging out with some international kids back in college, and they were like hyping up these like double filter cigarettes, and I had no idea what they were. They were from like Dubai or something. And I smoked like a quarter of one, and I was like, interesting. Then just tossed it aside. So I was like, I don't know what to do. But I wanted to try smoking a cigarette because I just never tried it before. I've also tried dip once. Dip was something that was pretty interesting. I don't like dip at all, so I just haven't done it in like a decade now. But I tried it. I tried a lot of stuff I'm not supposed to try, but after once you kind of just don't do it. And hey, Mark R, been following you for some time, made some huge profits through your advice. Yeah, I appreciate that, man. I try to be there when crazy stuff happens. This year, I've been trying to get out a little bit more. Last year was kind of a clusterfuck because of, family stuff going on and mom passing away. But I've been trying to dedicate more time, and I think I'm only starting to get into that kind of now. Because like now I'm starting to do my daily streams now that I'm back from being sick here. I'm actually going out into the crypto community and engaging with other influencers, which are really nice. CryptoFace is probably my favorite here. His brother Nick was really nice to meet. Tom Crown is always nice to talk with. Benjamin Cohen, awesome guy. He rented a great Airbnb out in Nashville. It's fantastic. He threw a really good party on top of the Westin Hotel, which is even more fantastic. So, a lot of chill people I got to meet there. A lot of fun people. AJ Crypto was really fun to talk with for a while. You get to meet a lot of people. So I enjoyed that. I'm looking forward to that more and more. Like I said, there are a few of them, not a lot. A few of them are going to the Rare Evo in Vegas. And then I believe even fewer are going to Token 2049. But I'm thinking next year I'm going to try to go to as many events as possible. But I'm going to, next year, more formally, I'm going to get like a doggy sitter for Loki. And so I'm going to basically find a person who can live in the house with Loki for the few days that I'm out of town. They kind of house sit and dog sit, and I think that'd be the best way to do it, because I don't like putting Loki in the kennels. Even if he has like a nice luxurious one, I can always tell he's like fucking terrified when he's there. Even if he's like a nice luxurious one, he does not look happy. So I don't like him there, obviously. He seems to be happy when they play with him, but like I know they can't play with him 24/7. And the last place I sent Loki to, I think it was like $20 per like an hour play session, and I gave him like 4 hours a day of play time, just because I was like, let him play, let him get worn out, let him have a good time, playing with people. And he seemed to enjoy that time, but I mean that was also like another $80 a day, so not terrible if you think about it, but also $80 a day, right? And hey, Larry, you think the Twitter space is going to glitch? I think a lot of people probably think that as well. Hold on a second here, guys. Let me take a sip of this. Oh, man. The condensation of this bottle, whatever's getting on me. Gary Gensler is a regular in the chat of the MTC, aka Randy Hipper show. Oh, geez, I didn't even know that. And hey, Tim, I can't bring it up because I'm the YouTuber. Cigars make me feel successful while I'm sitting in the kiddie pool. I wish I could smoke cigars so much more often in those fancy situations, but a lot of times when I'm smoking a cigar, I'm just sitting at a lounge. I'm just sitting here talking with you guys. I'm sitting on my balcony overlooking the nature, I'm not really in a fancy type of situation where I'm smoking a bunch of cigars. The last time I felt fancy smoking a cigar was I was invited to this private club, and I had my suit on after another private event. That like $3,000 suit I got on, right? And then I was like, oh, wow. Puffing on my $50 cigar, I was like, ooh, wow. This feels nice. But most of the time, I'm out in my patio, I'm smoking a cigar, I'm watching Loki try to like threaten birds with his eyes, because Loki hates birds, and I'm just chilling out. It's the best way to go. Apparently we got 1 minute left. Elon Musk is in the room. He is muted, but he is in the room. So as soon as they start talking again, I will make sure everybody can see. Right now it is the awkward techno music going on here, but that's basically what's going on. You're going Trump, but you wanted Jeb Bush back in the day. I forgot about Jeb Bush. Jeb Bush was he just seemed like a practical guy back in the day. He was just, maybe not as vocal as Trump, but he was pretty practical. And hey, Guilty, happy to see you. Gail, thanks for the response. Oh yeah, no worries, guys. I'm in the UK. Crazy few. What's been happening, dude? I hope you're safe, Mark, dude. I know what I've been looking at is basically I don't watch BBC or anything like that, but I have been, watching social media and TikTok's been going kind of crazy with everything going on in United Kingdom. And I heard somebody even got stabbed. Like 2 people got stabbed today. So I don't want to talk about it because YouTube may take down my channel because there's a lot of secrecy going on about Europe right now. But hope you're doing okay, man, and like. Stay safe out there. I didn't know knife crime was like a big thing, but like maybe because I don't normally hear about it. But like honestly, be safe. That is like some crazy stuff going on right now. And thanks, Tim. I appreciate it. It happened last year, but yeah, I was fucked up after that. And multi-stacker, thank you for the algo. If you guys want to, please make sure to subscribe, like the video. Only 40 people have liked. If you guys like and then comment, the algorithm will bless me with more views. As far as that's what I think is supposed to happen here. We'll wait and see. But we're basically, it's 5 o'clock. This should be the time everybody's about to go on. So far, we are not frozen. We are not frozen right now. And things are still working out. There's just this weird techno music. Listen to it. That's what I've been listening to for the last like 5-6 minutes as I was talking to you guys. It's just in my ears. Beep, boop, beep, boop. I don't know if it's YouTube approved music, so I can't play it, but that's basically what's going on here. Oh, it actually got a little more of a beat now. See, I haven't been smoking because I've been talking with you guys. There we go. Alrighty. The final countdown. Let's see if they start on time. It's already 5:01, so that would be a no. Or 8:01 if you guys are East time. No. Gary and Elizabeth need to be just bang and make everything better for everyone. I don't really know why Elizabeth Warren hates cryptocurrency so much. Gary Gensler, I don't think the guy inherently doesn't like it. I really don't. I believe he is a creature of Washington and he wants to climb that ladder to power. And if he does a good job and Kamala Harris becomes president this upcoming time, right? I believe he believes he will get the job of Treasury Secretary. And if he is, that'll be absolutely horrible for the markets. And I think that's another level of fear that people have right now and for what's about to happen here with this election. Because people keep on saying that Donald Trump's going to win. I call it a toss-up right now. I really call it a toss-up. Last time you voted was Perot. You have trust issues, perhaps? I'm caring for 8 kittens next door, and the sweeties are adorable. Oh, that sounds really cool. I haven't seen a kitten in a long time since my sister had her kitten. Oh, man, I miss those kittens. I missed her, my sister's cat when she was a kitten. Now she's just fucking, like, violent. Not violent, but, like, she bothers me a lot more. Not in the cute way. 420 bong? Oh, yeah. You keep getting an error message on Twitter. Thank you. Yeah, no worries, guys. I mean, I have it right now. It's still bing bonging in my ears. Bing, bing, bong, right? Right. So there probably is a couple issues going on right now. I'm not even going to mess with anything. I'm just going to relax and not touch a thing because I don't want to refresh and have it be an issue. We're going to listen to it when it happens. And basically, I'm just listening to some techno music while waiting for it to hit. But we're here. We're waiting. And let's see what happens here. But I'm not going to refresh. Spaces Donald Trump posted 1 minute ago. Spaces details not available. Oh, look at that. So it's there, but it's crashing. So if you're not in, you're not in. So luckily for you guys, somebody said it's me at least. Oh my god. All right. Look, what are you doing over here? Get out of here. I already gave you like 10 treats for right now. You're good. But yeah, so it's not available for most people, so we'll keep track of it. Bitcoin right now having no crazy reaction. We have a bullish signal on the 15-minute chart, which means you may see another move up here eventually, but right now nothing really crazy is happening here. So 50K in the space. So this is probably messing up for a couple people. You may see some issues here. I'm not going to fuck around and try to find out anything for you guys. I'm sorry. I just know it's working for me right now, and I'm going to stick to that. It's working for me right now. Because if I fuck with this, it's going to be a horrible thing. .102 hours here. Oh, geez. Yeah, it's early. Can't get in. Thought they would have worked this out. You would think they would have worked this out ahead of time, but apparently, no, they did not. So, but again, I still have access to this. You can hear the music there. But because this is an issue, you may see them postpone it for a little bit of time. So I hate to be the bearer of bad news there, but that does seem to be one of the things we're experiencing here, okay? So a 3-letter organization, perhaps? Oh boy, can you imagine if they were going after this? Can you imagine if the Europeans were stopping this right now? That'd be crazy. I heard the Europeans and Elon Musk were getting into a little bit of a titter-tatter, right? Here, before I take another puff here, let me take that off. Let me go over here. Elon Musk, Europe, I guess? Europe pressures Elon Musk to curb hate speech ahead of Donald Trump interview. Elon Musk exit with EU privacy complaints in 8 countries over illegal data. EU sends warning letter to Musk ahead of Trump interview. EU warns Musk on hate speech ahead of Trump interview. I mean, right? I mean, like, wow, look at that. CNBC, EU warns Elon Musk ahead of interview. A lot of stuff going on here. What's right here? There you go. So yeah, definitely a bunch of stuff going on right now. Definitely a bunch of stuff going on here. All I see is Elon Musk hate speech. So, yeah. You know it's going to be testy. And again, I wonder how this is going to actually have a... Oh, there's the Bitcoin movement like we talked about. We'll have to figure out what they talk about. But so far, 50,000 in this space. I'm going to Open an incognito window. Type in Donald Trump's name. I didn't. Oh, to Donald Rump, whatever that name is. Oh, I can't even see messages in case unless I make an account. Well, do I have? I know I have other. Yeah, I have plenty of Google accounts here. Let's go to this one right here. Oh, I need to create an account still. Continue. This music is driving me crazy in my head. I don't have an account here, but I can make one. I don't know usernames. Damn it, Michael and Loki. There you go. I don't want to see anything. Oh, goddamn! Get out of here! Get out of here! Get out of here! There you go. Okay, so I just made a fresh account just now, and this is what it looks like here, right? Donald Trump is back on X, you know. Oh, it made me follow Elon Musk here, so let me hop into the space very fast. Connecting. Still connecting. Now I'm listening to everything twice. So you should be able to get into it now if you guys wanted to. I am leaving. But you guys should be able to get into it now. I'm already on it here, but you guys should be able to if you wanted to right now. Just so you guys know. Okay? Elon Musk, UK Prime Minister. You glad you got into this space because I'm having issues too? I just got into it just easy peasy here. So it might be the phone may be having issues, but the website may not. Let me go over here to my X account. Take off the headphone here for you guys. Let's see. Well, okay. Yeah, I guess I'm not there might be an issue with the phones because I'm looking it up right now, and let me go back over here. Trending. Twitter blackout. I'm seeing Twitter blackout trending right now. Right? There was... No, it's not a Twitter blackout. Maybe Elon. I just saw a funny post. No. There we go. Twitter engineers trying to fix the Elon and Trump space right now. Elon wants you to forget Trump did this. Don't. Elon smoking. Oh my God. So many people try to join the Twitter space at Elon Musk and Donald Trump, and now it's malfunctioning with many users unable to get in. The space is not available. What is the number actually in there right now? So right now I see 193,000 people in the space. When I joined in, it was like 5,000 or something. Maybe 15. I don't know if they had a 5 and like 15,000. It appears that if you guys are not part of that, it's a little bit of an issue going on right now. So, you know. Let's see. The space is not available. So are you guys... excuse me. Yeah, are you guys getting this message? Is this happening to anyone else trying to listen to the Elon Trump space? Oh yeah, guys, hop on your computer. Apparently, it appears the computer might have a better chance. Because let me hop back on here, right? Let me just enter into it. Click on it. Start listening. And then there I am. Oh, I don't see anybody else in the space though. Let me zoom out of this one. Yeah, so you guys can see all of this going on right now. Got it. Yeah. So maybe some PCs can do it. Some I don't know, but it looks like the PCs can do it. Not if you guys are on your phone. Which Trump is that? Oh, the Trump train. I'm glad. See, didn't I tell you guys I wanted to have a nice cigar while I was experiencing this? Because I know this is going to be stressful. Waiting can be very stressful sometimes, guys. Well, let's go through Trump's account very fast and see if Trump has been posting anything as of late here. And again, I can hear everything in my freaking ears. So when I stop hearing this, I will let you guys know and we can listen to what we came here to listen to. But it's basically Donald Trump posting a bunch of stuff here. Details not available. Let me refresh this. This technical music peaks up every time and then just goes back to the dun 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 dun. So it looks like he's been posting some videos here for a while though. Can I do one more time? There we go. So it kind of zooms a little bit more. And you know, this Make America Great Again, vote Donald J. Trump for president, donate today. So he's trying to get this as a donation, like a fundraising event as well. So that is interesting. Now, am I going to give Trump any of my money? Nah, not really. The guy has enough as it says. But, you know, he's asking for it. If any of you guys are so inclined, I guess. Oh, my nose shut up a little bit from that smoke. Oh, well, let's take some water here. There we are. Oh, man, I need that drink of water. No, you're not. Computer's not working either. Oh, huh. Multi-sticker. They had to deploy bots for attendance. That'd be crazy. Not as bad as YouTube streams with 500K. Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't even know. I mean, there could be some issues. I don't know. Who's the most drama-filled YouTuber right now? That has to be Mr. Beast, right? Mr. Beast is a flaming dumpster fire at this point in time. Like, all because of that first allegation from his, like, the Chris person. And then it kept on spiraling to other parts of his business. And I guess now one of his marketing guys was like a pedophile or something. Like, holy fucking shit, Mr. Beast, what are you doing over there? Just what the fuck are you doing over there? I don't know. But yeah, Mr. Beast is going through some drama right now. I don't know if you guys know it. Unable to fetch. This is what happens when you fire your employees. They had to deploy bots. Spam Alt-4 to refresh and you can get in faster. Oh, yeah. I mean, but see, I'm getting in just fine. I have like a what you might call an expensive computer, but I don't think the quality of the computer has anything to do with what I'm seeing right now. Because again, I also have streaming software going on right now. I also have this YouTube page open right here. I have a bunch of stuff on my monitors, and I'm also running with multiple monitors right now at this time. So, let me refresh one more time here. Now, it's still 204,000 people in the space. I don't see that number actually going up all too much right now. And let me do this for you guys very fast. So you guys can just see it this way, so you guys can see what I'm talking about when I zoom in here. All right, there you go. All right. Oh, and I forgot I have sponsors of the channel. If you guys like cryptocurrency and you guys want to start trading, I do have some sponsors down below who have some great exchanges for you guys. Gotta give them a plug. But yeah, you can see right here, 204,000 subscribers, viewers, excuse me. Refresh one more time. 207, and went up a little bit. 207 still. I go in there. Might have froze. Maybe it's messing up for me now too. I can't even get into your stream on X. Oh, really? I did not know that at all. Okay, all right, I'm going to refresh this here. But now it has this, like, you see how it has this haze on it? I can't fix that now. Yeah, it froze. Oh, because it's still on x.com/space. If I back up a little bit here, there we go. I'm back to it. So you can't even see my stream on X. So let me do this very fast. But so you guys know, this is going to take a while. I'm sorry, it's not my fault. I have access to it right now. You guys can hear that background music? I do have access to the space in case they just say fuck it and start. I do see this number going up a little bit. Was it 204,000? Was now at 207,000? And was it? No, it was, yeah, 204,000 to 207,000. Now it's at 209,000. So it is going up here. But let me go over to my page here and see if I can find it. And what are you guys talking about, Michael? Mr. Beast? Let's see. Mr. Beast is cooked. So many allegations will keep coming out of the... He won't be able to address everything. He's going to have to put out a video eventually. So I just don't know if he's going to be able to. I mean, whatever response video he gives will be his most viewed video ever, right? Because if he doesn't do this, YouTube may be forced to terminate his channel. That's how crazy this stuff is getting. All right, so here's my account. If you guys want to follow me, my username is Michael W. Crypto. Yeah, you guys can't even get access to my stream. Holy crap. Yeah, wow. That's crazy. Give myself a follow because I'm awesome. Wow, yeah, this whole thing is kind of broken right now, isn't it? I see politics crashed. Yeah, everything's crashing. Oh my god. Yeah. Oh yeah, did you guys hear about dumpster fire over at JetBlue? JetBlue is now like over like 20% today or something like that. Yeah, it canceled my stream. Huh. Yeah, so like all of X is going through some issues right now. Let's be frank about that one. Trending, you know. Elon Spaces unable. Basically, if when I click on this, you guys will understand. So many people try to join the Twitter Spaces. Elon Musk and Donald Trump that now it's malfunctioning with many users unable to get in. Trump and Elon have broken the internet. I'll retweet. Oh, I'm not gonna do all this crap for you. This isn't my main account. Trump Space, Shoda. What's a Shoda? Shoda Sports. What is Shoda? The Space, Real American's Voice not working. Trump interview. Yeah, so Epstein, what the fuck? Jesus, okay. One of those types of days. Crashed, Big Christmas, go back to Truth Social, DDoS. I mean, everybody's really happy. Everybody's really pissed off. I guess that's kind of what Donald Trump usually does. But yeah, we're waiting. If you guys want to listen to the techno music, here it is again. I have no issues getting in right now. Like, right? I go back up here. Oh. Did he share this? Oh, there it is. So I see my thing right here though. So let me, if I click on this, will it actually go to broadcast? No, it's actually just broken. Wow. Yeah. It messed up my stream. That's horrible. Okay, well, fine. Well, go to the Donald Trump space though? No, it's not even opening up anymore. So yeah. Now it's down to 199,000. I know you guys can't see it. Now it's down to 199,000 from 207,000. Donald Trump is like, why the fuck did I agree to do this? But if they tried this on Truth Social, it might have broken at 15,000 people. You never know. But yeah, if you try to click on it, nothing happens. So, you see how there's like this gray haze on my screen right now? That's kind of what you see when you click on it, right? I don't click on anything. Donald J. Trump space. It's like it knows there's supposed to be a pop-up, but that pop-up isn't actually coming up onto the screen here. Now again, I'm on it on this one, but I'm not fucking with that one because I want to stay in it. Take a Bitcoin break here. Bitcoin's still not doing anything except for like gradually going up. Not really that fantastic. But yeah, it seems that this is really just breaking all of Twitter right now. And I feel like they should have had way more people on hand for an event of this magnitude. But we will see. We will see. NBC Sports. I don't know. Sean Sporter. Sports Center. I don't know. Win Robotaxi. If I knew the question of that, I know exactly when to buy some Tesla stock. This must be the music Donald Trump listens to in his limo. Could you imagine? That'd be absolutely crazy. Puccini? What's Puccini? He had more while streaming and not in spaces just fine yesterday. I wonder if it's just so many people going at once and it kind of just overloaded everything. I don't know. I mean, you could, excuse me. There could always be people inside Twitter that try to, like, mess it up at the most opportune moments. I have no idea. They could have had the best friend fired by Elon. I honestly don't know. DeSantis interview 2.0. No, I don't think it's as bad as the DeSantis interview, and that's mostly because I think DeSantis rolled out his campaign on X. I think that's what it was, when he really didn't have to, and that was a dumpster fire. This one, I would say it's not off to a great start, but because everybody knows Donald Trump and everything, I don't think it'll be a huge issue. You will see mainstream news organizations that already don't like Trump, like obviously hate the guy, for his policies, his attitude, all that type of stuff, like stuff that no people hate him for, right? You will see the media organizations that hate him. They will talk more about the issues of, like, the issues happening right now, like the technical issues. They'll talk about that more than the substance of their talk. I don't exactly know what they're going to be talking about here tonight too much. I expect it's going to be something more of like constitutional issues at the heart of it, but I honestly don't know. So we'll see. A lot of what we're going to hear is going to be cut up into bite-sized pieces for everybody to listen to on social media. But, we'll just kind of wait and smoke cigars. If I'm lucky, I should be able to actually start smoking another cigar here pretty soon. But I don't know which one I want to smoke. This one has been very pleasant. I have this box right here that I've already opened up, but I don't want to take anything out of it. I have the My Father box over there, and I have those other 3 sticks that I don't want to smoke because I already smoked this one. But I have the collection of Tatuajes. These are the 6 Robusto ones too. So it's the Havana number 6. I can't pronounce these names. Oh my god. Fausto, Black Label, Nue Vistas Jabaro, Cabaguan. I can't pronounce this stuff. But there's some goodies in here, right? When you get cigars as gifts, you have to smoke them. That's the rule. Yes, it's something smells fishy. It's an attack. What do you call? I don't know. It's definitely crazy right now. I'm pulling out the big J Maui. Let me see. Well, while we're waiting for this, guys, what is Fat Elvis? Oh, I see what's going on. Okay, so I don't know what the heck's on. I forget there's so much more politics that goes on in X than I remember. I'm kind of stuck in the crypto side of Twitter. Like, most of my feed is usually just crypto and economics, Muhammad Ali and that type of stuff. That being said, I forget that every time one side is doing very, very well, like right now everybody's focusing, like everybody in the world right now is like focusing on this Trump whole thing going on. You're going to see a lot of Democrats also use the name Trump to get more views on their stuff, but they're going to talk about Trump in a bad way. And since there's less of them posting anti-Trump stuff, all of the liberals come together to actually like promote those few pages. The only thing I don't like about those people in general that try to cause a lot of like anger and stuff on both sides is they're usually paid by a party or the establishment, which I typically don't think is very... I don't know. I don't feel like it's good to be making money off the establishment, but I guess if that's your job, right? Let's see. I mean, Elon Musk is tweeting right now. Okay, let me just not try to do that. Let's go over here. So he just posted a minute ago. We tested the system with 8 million concurrent listeners earlier today. This appears to be a massive DDoS attack on X, working on shutting it down. Worst case, we will proceed with a smaller number of live listeners and post the conversation later. Oh, yeah. There appears to be a massive DDoS attack on X, working on shutting it down. Worst cases will proceed. Oh, so it's a hack. I don't know what DDoS attack is. Let's see. Hold on. Hold on. Oh, I fucked up. I did something. Uh, I'm just gonna ask ChatGPT. All right, so there we go. A distributed denial of service (DDoS) attack is a type of cyberware attack where multiple compromised computers, often part of a botnet, are used to overwhelm a target server, website, or network with a flood of traffic. The goal is to disrupt normal operations, making the service unavailable to legitimate users. Unlike a typical denial of service attack, which originates from a single source, a DDoS attack uses numerous sources, making it harder to mitigate and track back to the origin. The attack can lead to significant downtime, financial loss, and damage to a company's reputation. Yeah, this is what Twitter's being hit with right now, basically. So, yeah. That being said, if they do go on with this, guess who's going to be in the call? Me and you. So, yeah. Just keep waiting, guys. If you guys want to wait, if you guys have stuff to do, by all means, go do it. We're going to be chilled for a while here. It doesn't seem like this number is getting much larger. It's staying around that 200,000. But we'll have to wait and see. Let's see. See anything else? No, SpaceX guys. There you go. All right, we will proceed with a smaller number of concurrent listeners at 8:30 Eastern time and then post the unedited audio immediately thereafter. So they're going to start in like 2 minutes. Sweet, 2 minutes until go time. After all that testing. Oh, man. Oh, and Max Power says right there. Max Power knows what he's talking about. That's where the power comes from. It means a lot of bots are trying to connect to the site, overloading it, causing it to be slow and crash. Yep. Could you imagine if they trace this back to the Democratic National Committee or something like that? That'd be crazy. That'd be crazy, crazy, crazy. I'm taking off the band of the cigar right now so it doesn't burn myself with it. But yeah, so that's what we're going for right now. Wow, that's crazy, crazy, crazy. Meanwhile, Trump is like, what the fuck is going on here? Rah, 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 rah. You know, I want to see if Trump has a little bit of an attitude when he answers the call. Make crypto great again. Hey, Gambit, happy to see you. Some people trying to blame Iran. It's the government. Started much earlier. It could be the government. I mean, what do you call it? I'm not going to try to do accusations for now, primarily because I'm terrified of YouTube shutting down my channel. That being said, I don't really trust the government. I got you can join. Oh, somebody. Okay, let me try this again very fast. Excuse me. So I can click on Elon's Musk head right now, and I can say, is he in a... Yeah. Oh, look at 4 to 6 other... You should be able to get in. I just got in pretty easily. So guys, you can now get into the servers. They appear to be fixed up right as they're going. Oh my god, talk about the timing here. So I'm going to refresh this every few seconds. I'm just going to see 493,000 people. I mean, it just doubled basically from like 200,000. So, or over doubled. So they must be doing something right? 527,000. I guarantee. I mean, they're supposed to start now, right? A minute ago. I bet they're going to. What would you say? I bet they're just going to give it a few more seconds, just because like that hundreds of thousands of people are pouring in all at once, right? 580. Bitcoin to the moon. What's Bitcoin doing right now? Hey, it's still chugging up. We talked about that change of character. It's a short-term one, but it is one nonetheless. 595. Oh, now it's at 595. They might be locked again. Nope, 613. Stream test 2. Oh, what the fuck is that? Oh, that's 22 hours ago. Wait, does that mean you guys can find my video again? We're live again. Yeah, we're live again. Okay, cool. Limited by broadcast. I'm not limiting anybody's ability to speak. Am I? I wonder if there's a way. Oh, no, it's glitched out again. Never mind. We're back for a millisecond. We'll see. 665, 668. We're chugging along here, guys. They're going to start any minute. And again, we just have this very weird techno music happening in the background. So we still have to wait a little bit more before we could get started with this. So yeah, we'll proceed with a smaller number of concurrent listeners at 8:30. That's 2 minutes ago. So that means like they were supposed to start 2 minutes ago, 8:30 Eastern Time, 5:30 Pacific Time. There we go. 710,000. Does that mean I don't even have to refresh it? Just kind of does it by itself? Yeah, 724, yeah. So we're just waiting right now, guys. I wonder if this takes away from any of the what were we just talking about? The Mr. Beast drama going on about now. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if Mr. Beast is going to survive this. I don't know why I'm talking about him, but I feel like that's all the news I've been hearing about as far as social media news as of late. Stay in there? Oh yeah, I'm staying in. I'm not getting out. Remember, I already have another website that is I already have another website that's actually already in the room. This is the one I'm just testing out for you guys. I'm not hopping in and out. I'm hopping in on the second website. I literally made a new account to test it out because I didn't want to have to use my account that's actually in there. It's all the music on? Oh yeah. Trust me, I hear the music. I don't like the music, but it's there. I don't like the music at all. But I'm listening to it so when they actually start talking, you know, I'll just push play. Like I'll unlock the audio on my end and we can just listen to it together. But I am not I don't want you guys to have to be subjected to this stuff. You can request to speak, not that they would. I mean, I can try. And let's go over here to manage space, clip. How do you request to speak? This one? Oh, request to speak, yeah. Yeah, I requested to speak. If there's a glitch, here we go. Well, I also have my audio software going to like a few different things, so it might not even like show up there, but you never know. Oh, Elon Musk just left. Okay. Elon Musk just left the hosting, so I don't know. You see the number continue to go up to 806,000 now. So whatever the attack was, they got it fixed up, but Elon Musk has left the building here for a second. So maybe because I asked to listen, maybe he got offended or something. I don't know. I don't hear the music. There's nothing but silence. It's silence. I hear it clicking. Do you guys hear that? Maybe the music ran out. Now it feels weird that there's no music happening. 845,000. So interesting, guys. Interesting. Well, we're gonna keep on waiting for this to hit off. It's probably gonna hit like 1 million here pretty soon, which will be nice. Is Elon rebooting to enjoy a joint? I don't know. I don't know what Elon's doing, but he must just be I mean, he must have just ran to the fucking server room or something. I don't know. He hasn't tweeted in the last few minutes. I got my phone right here. Every time the guy tweets, I have it right here on the good old iPhone-y phone. Yes, I want to hear Elon, Donald, and Mike's speech. Hey, I'd be the most entertaining part of this entire space. Trust me. I'd just be fucking cracking jokes and shit and seeing how they react to the jokes. They'd be inappropriate jokes for sure. I'd be like, hey, Donald, what's your favorite cigar? You know, are you a QB guy or you a New World guy? I don't know if Elon Musk smokes a lot of cigars, but I'd be like, Elon, are you an indica or sativa type of guy? And let's just have a nice little banter back and forth. I'd be a very chill moderator. And I'd be like, okay, Donald, now that we're on the topic of cigars, You know, what are you going to do about Iran? They're threatening everybody. Everybody's really terrified. What are you going to do about it? And just kind of watch him go off to Elon. Like, Elon, I hear Europe fucking hates you right now. What are you going to do about it? Just have a good time fucking with him. Okay, guys, just so you guys know, I do have the audio on, and there is nothing happening right now. There's no more music at this point. If the music starts back up, I'll cut it off. But we're just kind of waiting and chilling, and you know, we're in the space. We can kind of hear it. We can hear nothing, but you get the point, I guess. No music is a bad omen. Should I play my own music? I don't have music. I'm not a good artistic soul. I used to know how to sing a little bit, but then god damn it. You know when you got cold drink and the moisture on the outside condenses, is that what it's called, something like that? Yeah, well I hate that because it keeps on dripping on my nice pants. I'm wearing slacks today because everything else is in the dishwasher. Oh, not the dishwasher. I'm getting all my clothes ready, and like half of my clothes are the dry cleaners right now, so I'm pretty much like clothesless. It's pretty sad. My dog goes over here. Here. While we wait, we can give Loki his last treat, or second to last treat. Can't be around smoke. There we go. Oh, look at you. Yeah, see? Yeah. Ooh. It's mine, though. Oh, you little bastard. Yeah, yeah. All right, that's it, though. Hey. Hey. There you go. All right, now, back off. Uh-huh. Oh, Elon Musk is back as a speaker. So here we go. All right. Let's go back over. There's no talking going on. Let me join this one just in case. Nope, there's also no speaking in this one, so I'm going to leave this one as well. I'm going to go back over here, and we're just going to be waiting. But they're both on. Apparently, both of their mics are on, but I'm assuming they're using some software like mine where you can push the mute button and stuff like that. So we'll see. But they're getting there, I guess. Condensation, thank you. I'm a little bit backwards today, guys. It's my first day really being back at streaming in like a week and a half or something like that. So, give me some leeway here. Plus, we're waiting on this space to start, and it's like 40 minutes late, and then it's like another 10 minutes late on top of the new time frame they set. So, we are really just going to chill here and wait for this to occur. Everybody's hoping for it. It's at 959,000. You know, I mean, it's going right now. But I mean, if it goes any longer, it's going to be somebody's, bedtime here pretty soon. So, I mean, not mine, maybe yours, I don't know. But, it's going to be a bedtime here, so. That's nice. This is an amazing cigar. I'll pull it up for you guys if I can. Let me see what this is. I don't think this is an expensive cigar either. I think it's just one of the free ones they gave me because I'm awesome like that. Let me see if I can find this cigar. Don Pepin Garcia, original. Here you go. Yeah, this is the one. This one. I don't know what year this is. See, there's too many subtleties when it comes to this type of stuff. Don Pepin Garcia. October 2024. Size A. This is a Toro. So this is an $8 cigar, I'm assuming, right? It's a very good cigar.
All right, hello
Strength.
everyone.
Never
My
mind.
apologies for the late start. We unfortunately had a massive distributed
Let's just
denial of
listen,
service
right? Let's
attack
just listen.
against our servers, and saturated all of our data lines. Like basically hundreds of gigabits of data were saturated. We think we've overcome most of that, and it's now time to proceed. But as this massive attack illustrates, there's a lot of opposition to people just hearing what President Trump has to say, and but I'm honored to have this conversation. I want to emphasize it's a conversation, um, and it's really intended to just get a feel for what Donald Trump is just like in a conversation. It's hard to catch a vibe about someone if you just don't hear them talk in a normal way. And when there's an adversarial interview, like no one's themselves in an adversarial interview. Um, and this is really aimed at kind of open-minded, independent voters who just trying to make up their mind. Uh, and so you can understand like what is what is it just like to have a conversation. So um, honored to Donald, great uh, to speak. We had a great conversation yesterday. As you mentioned yesterday, if we could just record that conversation and post it, it would have been excellent. And I hope we can have something like that today.
Well, I think we will. I'm pretty sure we will. And congratulations, because I see you broke every record in the book with so many millions of people. And it's an honor. We view that as an honor. And then you do want silencing of certain voices. Usually those are voices that have something to say that are constructive, oftentimes constructive. And
Yeah.
so we have to consider it an honor. But congratulations on breaking every record in the book tonight.
He
That's
said it
great.
was an honor to be
Well, thank
attacked
you.
with the DDS attack.
Well, I mean, maybe we could start off with, the assassination attempt, which was an incredible thing. And I have to say that, your actions after that assassination attempt were inspiring. Um, you, instead of shying away from things, instead of ducking down, um, you were pumping your fist in the air and saying, fight, fight, fight. And I think that's, I mean, the president of the United States represents America, and I think that is America. That is strength under fire, and so that's a big part of the reason why I was excited to endorse you as the president of the United States for having another term here. Is that was just incredibly inspiring. But I mean, what was it like for you?
Not pleasant, I
It's
have to
not
be honest.
pleasant.
I said there was
Yeah. I
blood. I
mean,
had
being
more
shot is
blood.
not much fun.
I didn't know I had that much blood. The doctors later told me that the ear is a place that is a very bloody place if you're going to get hit. But in this case, it was probably the best alternative you could even think about because it went at the right angle, and it was a hard hit. It was very, I guess you would say surreal, but it wasn't surreal. You know, I was telling somebody you have instances like this, or like a lot less than this, where you feel it's a surreal situation, and I never felt that way. I knew immediately that it was a bullet. I knew immediately that it was at the ear,
Yeah.
and because it hit very hard, but hit the ear. And I also heard people shout, "Bullets, bullets!" Get down, because I moved down pretty nicely, pretty quickly, and we had bullets flying right over my head after I went down. So I'm glad I went down. The bigger miracle was that I was looking in the exact direction of the shooter, and so it hit me at an angle that was far less destructive than any other angle. So that was the miracle. That was
Yeah.
for those
Split
people that
second.
don't believe in God. I think yeah, we got to all start thinking about that. You have to, I'm a believer now. I'm more of a believer, I think, and a lot of people have said that to me. A lot of great people have said that to me, actually. But it was amazing that I happened to be turned just at that perfect
Yeah.
angle, and all because I put down a chart on immigration that showed that the numbers were so great. I love that chart
I
even
mean,
more
maybe
now
it's a
than I
sign.
ever.
Maybe
Yeah.
that's a sign, you know.
It's an immigration sign.
You
But
highlighted a serious issue, and
yeah,
at that moment,
that's right.
the bullet missed your, you know, hit your ear, but you know, missed your head. I mean,
Well,
you know,
the
yeah,
amazing thing is that the sign, I said, bring down that sign on immigration. And it was literally about an eighth of a second where it would be good. And after that, it was going to
yeah,
be a disaster, no matter which way you were facing. But it just had that perfect angle, which was
yeah,
exactly at this shooter. Very sad situation. Such a sad situation. As you know, we lost somebody that was great, Corey,
yeah,
who, a firefighter, a great gentleman, a great trumper. He was
Make
just a
sure to hit subscribe if
fantastic
you guys
family
haven't
and a
already.
fantastic man. And a friend of mine came up, Elon, and said, "I'd like to give the family some kind of help." And I said, "That's great." He said, "Do you mind?" I said, "I don't mind at all." And he wrote out a check for $1 million, gave it to the wife. And, you know, she said, "This is really nice, but I'd rather have my husband back," which is a nice thing for
sure,
somebody to say, to be honest. She's great. The family is great. And we raised a lot of
yeah,
money for them and for two other gentlemen are unbelievable people also. They were hit really badly. They thought they were not going to make it, and they did. The doctors in the Butler area, I tell you, they were incredible. They saved the two, and they were really hit tough, both of them
yeah,
equally. And we thought
yeah,
my first question was because I heard bullets flying over me. And I said, "How many people were killed?" Because we had a massive crowd there, a tremendous
yeah,
thousands and thousands of people, and there was no land. I mean, it was all people. So I said, "How many people have been killed?" Because I knew there were other shots being fired,
sure,
and they said, "We don't know yet, but some people have been badly hurt." And I have to give the Secret Service sniper, they call him, or sharpshooter, but sniper,
yeah,
because he didn't know there was a problem. He's an extraordinary shot, obviously, and he didn't know there was a problem. And he was
yeah,
able to pick it all out within 5 seconds. And he used one bullet from very far away, I guess probably about 400 yards. The shooter was 130, but
yeah,
he was on the opposite side of the field and the podium, and he saw the smoke and the flame from the gun, immediately recognized it, and immediately took a shot. And it was one perfect shot from very far away. And if he didn't do
yeah,
that, Elon, he would have. I mean, if he would have, a lot of people, a lot more people could have been
sure,
badly hurt and killed. So
yeah,
I have to
absolutely,
take my hat off to him because
Make sure to
that's
vote in the
also a
poll.
surreal. You know, he's been with them for 23 years, and
yeah,
he's never had anything like this. And all of a sudden, he has to act, and it's a very tough thing to
sure,
act and to be shooting somebody. But he saw the gun, saw the smoke, saw the flame from the gun, very far away. I obviously has very good eyes. He's got very good vision, which assume you have
yeah,
to have in that particular work. But he took
absolutely,
aim very quickly, and it was, they say it was approximately 5 seconds from long range,
yeah,
one bullet. If that didn't happen,
yeah,
because the shooter had a lot of bullets, he had a lot of cartridges up
sure.
there with him, so could have
Well,
been very.
I mean that's clearly you know, he was very competent in taking that shot to stop the attempted assassination. But I mean, there does seem to be, I mean, some pretty significant failings elsewhere in the system. Like, there's just no way that, like, how on earth does a shooter get on a roof 130 yards away? That seems crazy. I think most people people are wondering how on earth could such a thing happen?
Well, you know, I view it as two ways. There should have been nobody on the roof. There were people,
Yeah,
because there were so many tens of thousands of people there. There were people that were seeing him, and there was one woman with a red shirt and
right.
Trump all over
I
it,
saw
and
the video.
she's screaming, "That guy's got a gun!" You know, you saw it probably.
Yeah, yeah,
There's
yeah.
a
No, I
guy
saw
up
the
there
videos.
with a
I
gun.
mean, it's like I guess, I mean, for my part, and I think probably many members of the public are wondering how the heck are, you know, basically people wondering by it, pointing out there's a guy on the roof with a gun,
Yeah.
and they're seeing it, but somehow it's not being addressed. That does seem
Yeah,
crazy.
well, they're going to learn from this. The communication between the local police, who sort of had an idea, and then ultimately a man lifted himself up to the roof, could barely do it because he was pulling himself up, and
Yeah.
he saw the man with the gun. The man with the gun pointed the gun at him. He thought he was probably going to get shot, but he was like pulling himself up, and because of that, he couldn't get to his gun, and he fell down. Actually, very badly hurt his leg, his ankle. I hear very badly, but
Okay.
he fell down, and he did. From what I understand, he did say, "There's a guy up there with a gun," and the shooting started very quickly after that. I think it forced the shooter to go maybe quicker. He was supposed to be a very good shot.
Yeah.
My sons, Don and Eric, they can't believe what happened, but they said from 130 yards, a bad shot would hit that target almost every time. They said it's like in golf,
Yeah.
sinking a 2-foot putt.
Yeah. It's not a tough
No,
shot.
it's not a long shot. The Secret Service person had the long shot. He had triple the
Yeah.
distance actually. So it was a terrible thing. Look, it's hard. I have to say this about the Secret Service. When I went down, and I went down based on, I think, they're screaming, but other people also, because people saw this happen. You had so many people. One of the miracles was that nobody ran. I mean, if a gun goes off, the crowd
Yeah.
control people showed us this. When guns go off, and it does happen in stadiums at a soccer match or some kind of a match, everybody flees. They call it a stampede, like cattle. But everybody, and a lot of
Yeah.
people get killed with those stampedes. We had
Sure.
more people than you'd have at some of these matches or these games, and nobody left. You had a small group behind us in the grandstand, and that was full. And you look at it as it was taking place, and normally they'd be running. They didn't leave. They saw that I was hurt. They saw a lot of blood, and they saw that I went down. And it's almost like they wanted to be with me. Well, out front, you had thousands, tens of thousands of people. As far as the eye could see, you had people in Butler, as far as the eye could see, and uh,
Yeah.
and a lot of press too. There were many cameras on watching this. It's what makes it so different, because normally things happen that aren't good, but you never have a picture of it. Here we have all these cameras shooting it, so
Yeah.
sort of amazing. But one of the interesting things was that you didn't have anybody flee. You didn't have anybody stampede.
Sure.
Nobody. And there were some people behind me. They stood up and they're looking like, I mean, I'll tell you,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
want to have them in a foxhole with you. I want to meet some of those people,
Sure.
because
Sure.
it's so different from what you heard. But so so I was down. But the Secret Service
Yeah.
guys,
Very
there were
weird spot
bullets
to
flying
start in
right
this
over my head. You could
conversation.
hear them go whizzing,
Yeah.
and these guys came jumping on top of me, and a young lady, Kate, uh, would jump. They moved so fast, and let me tell you, that took tremendous courage. Now there was a lack of coordination. There was, obviously everybody understands that somebody that building should have been covered, and
Yeah, yeah.
that was
I
the
think
big
that
thing.
like I mean, looking at the aerial views, that building would be like the number one spot for a sniper. I mean, it's like the if you were to pick like what is the favorite place, what if you so if the goal is to assassinate, what's your favorite spot? That building, the
You're
roof of
right.
that building would be number one.
That would have been the spot.
It's like you can ask for a better
No,
location. It's like number
no, that
one.
would have been the spot.
Um,
What people think
yeah,
is when the local policeman, who, by the way, he really he did what he was supposed to do. He couldn't hold on any longer. And then when he got
yeah,
his head just peeking above, this guy standing there with a gun at his head. And when he fell down, again, hurt his ankle very badly, but he was making the calls. But what happened is the firing took place very soon. So what they
yeah,
think is that this guy ran to his site, which he had all planned out with the gun. He ran to the site and he started shooting fast. And maybe that's why he sort of missed. I mean, he uh,
yeah. But
he
as you
got
said,
me,
he
but
would
it
have
could have
hit.
been a much
Yeah.
bigger problem.
But he totally would have hit if you hadn't turned your head. So like there was it was a very near thing.
It was a
So
miracle. If I hadn't
um,
turned my head,
yeah,
I would not be talking to you right now. As much as I like you,
exactly.
I would not.
Make
Yeah,
sure to
I would
like,
not be.
vote if you
moving
guys like this or not, and
to
then
you from another
subscribe if
realm,
you guys haven't
perhaps.
Yeah,
already.
that's
Thanks.
right. We'd be talking from a
So
different place. But it was it was a very terrible
Elon
experience.
going to the gypsy lady
The
at the
Butler
ball.
Hospital,
Let me
they did
speak to
such a great
Donald
job.
Trump.
The doctors were so good. Everybody was so good. There was a mistake. If somebody knew, because people were hearing that, there was just a bad feeling that there was somebody was around. You know that story now. It's been pretty
yeah,
well.
yeah,
And
yeah,
if somebody could have said, because they've oftentimes said, like there'd be a lightning storm or something, because I've done, I think, over 300. I think I did a lot more than that, but we did a lot. And oftentimes they'll say, sir, could you wait 10 minutes, please? Sir, could you wait 20 minutes? There's a storm overhead or lightning or something, right? And
yeah,
that happens
yeah,
often. And this would have been a perfect time for that to have happened, but it
yeah.
didn't get coordinated. That was the problem.
Well, it was your I think your actions in the heat of fire, and like what I find admirable there was that you can't fake bravery under such circumstances. The courage is instinctual or it is not. It's not a rehearsed action. And so I just want to say that I think a lot of people admire your courage under fire there. And
Well,
yeah, so
thank you very
yeah,
much. I appreciate it. I didn't think of it. I just wanted to get up and I wanted to stand up. I wanted to let people know, I felt I was good when they were on top of me, covering me, actually, very much covering me and very bravely. But I wanted to get up. I said, I want to get up. And they wanted, they have everything there. They wanted stretcher. I didn't like the stretcher. And I knew I was hit
In a
in the ear,
stretcher,
but
can
I
you
knew I
imagine?
wasn't hit
And then
anywhere
he'd just
else.
be
They
like an
felt I was
earshot.
hit someplace else
yeah,
because it was such a lot of blood, and they were sure that I was hit someplace else. And they were saying, "Sir, you were hit in more than the ear." I said, "Nope, I was hit in the ear. I want to get up. Let me get up." And so I got up, and the crowd didn't know what to think. I mean, this was so many people, and you could see they were confused. They didn't know what to think, and I wanted to let them know I was okay. It was very important for me to let them
yeah,
know that, and they went wild. You've seen the after. They didn't go wild when I
yeah,
got up because they didn't know, was I alive. You really couldn't tell when I stood up before the hand, before the fist in the air. Uh, they didn't know if I was alive. Nobody did. And when I put the fist up, they were just relieved and happy and thrilled, and the place went crazy. It was pretty
yeah.
amazing. It was a
Well,
terrible thing, but it
it
was
was
really nice.
incredibly moving. Yeah. Um, well, and I mean, speaking of the sort of slide that got you to turn that saved your life, really, was the illegal immigration
Right,
slide. Maybe this,
that's right.
maybe this it's worth talking about that,
It
since
was. It was.
that slide
You're
saved your
right.
life,
No,
basically.
the illegal immigration saved my life. You're right, but and I
I
had to
know
be at
that's
that exact angle.
I mean, that's a great one. Saved by illegal immigration.
The incredible
100%.
thing though, when you talk about the odds, you had to be exactly at that angle. But the
Yeah,
incredible thing is that the chart, I used it less than 20% of the time. It was just a moment.
yeah,
It's always on my left, never my right, and it's always at the end of the speech. So here
yeah,
we have it. It's on the right, not the left. It's at the beginning, not the end. And even the people that put it up, they were unprepared, and they did a great job. They got it up immediately, fortunately. But I looked to the right, and the bullet came whizzing by, hitting my ear. So it was amazing. But when you think of the odds of that, and
yeah, yeah,
that normally you wouldn't use it. Normally I wouldn't have the thing, and then it would
yeah.
have been a very different story. It's very much, I say, an act of God. It's a miracle that it happened, and I'm
Sure.
honored by it. I'm honored by it.
Well, what were you about to say about illegal immigration before you were rudely interrupted with a
Well, I was
bullet?
going to say how good the numbers were. By the way, we're going back to Butler, and we're going to go
Great.
back in October. We're all set up, and the people are fantastic in Butler. It's a great area. Great. These are incredible people. like the three that in the case of Corey killed and the other two, the families are, I got to know them a little bit, and the families are great. But we're going back to Butler. And I think I'll probably start by saying, as I was saying,
As, yeah, as you were
prior to
saying,
being
exactly.
so horribly
So,
interrupted.
yeah,
But
yeah. So rudely interrupted by an
yeah,
assassination
so,
attempt.
but no, but the chart,
Some people have no manners.
Elon, the chart was just a chart that in my last week, we had the best illegal immigration numbers, meaning stopping. It was at the lowest. You've seen the chart. It's become quite a famous
Yeah,
chart,
yeah,
but that was the lowest
yeah.
point ever recorded. It was a really, I mean, I was very proud of those numbers. And then you see what happened with these people, Kamala and Joe. You see what happened. They just let it go. I had remain in Mexico policies. I had all these different policies that was so good. Uh, Guys like Tom Homan and Brandon Judd from Border Patrol. All these are all people that they've been on television. They said it's the best numbers we've ever had. We had so many different checks, catch and release in Mexico, not the United. We had catch and release in the United States. We had it in Mexico. We had so many things. We had things where if people, many people come in there, they have contagious diseases. We had everything passed. If you have a contagious disease, I'm sorry, but we cannot allow you into the country. So we were setting
Yeah,
literally records, and I all I was doing is showing that, and I use it sometimes,
sure.
and in this case, I'm glad I used it. I can tell you that, but they were fantastic numbers. But I'm going to sleep with that chart always. I'll be sleeping with that chart. That chart was very important for a lot of reasons.
Well, I mean, would it be accurate to say that you're supportive of legal immigration, but but we also need to shut down illegal immigration, and especially unvetted illegal
Yes,
immigration, because and that's not the same as saying that everyone who's an illegal immigrant is bad. In fact, I think most people who are illegal immigrants are actually good, but you
They're
can't
hitting a
tell a difference
stride.
unless there's a solid vetting of who comes across the border. Does that accurately
100%.
represent your position?
I say it
Okay.
very simply. They have to come in legally. They have to be checked
Yeah.
because look, Kamala was the border czar. Now she's denying it. Everything that I do, she's
Yeah.
saying she was strong on the border. We're going to be strong. Well, she doesn't have to say it. She could close it up right now. They could do things right now. It's horrible. Uh, no tax on tips, and all of a sudden she's making a speech and there will be no tax on tips. I said that months ago. And by the way, they had just the opposite. They had not only tax on tips, but they hired 88,000 IRS agents, and many of them were assigned to go get waitresses and caddies and all of this on tips. They have a policy. They had a policy that they were really going to go after you and were really harassing people horribly. And then all of a sudden, for politics, she says, she comes out with what I said, which I think is terrible. And I think it's also hitting them very hard. These people are fake. Now they're also saying they did a good job on the border. We had the worst numbers in the history of the world, not of our country. There's never been a country in history that has had a catastrophe like this. We've had, I believe, and I think you believe this too, you hear 12
Yeah.
million, 13. I believe it's over 20 million people came into our country,
Yeah.
many coming from jails, from prisons, from mental institutions, or a bigger version of that is
Yeah.
insane asylums, and many are terrorists. And I'll tell you what, they're coming not just from South America, they're coming from Africa, they're coming from all over the world. They're coming
This is a great poll battle. Keep it up, guys. Thanks.
the Middle East. They're coming from countries that are uh, stupidly and horribly bombing Israel October 7th. They're coming from all over the world. And you look at it's so sad October 7th because it should have never happened.
Yeah.
It's so sad when
Sure.
you look at Ukraine. It should have never happened. We have a defective
Yeah.
government. These are defective people, and they're not people that should be running it. But where you see it the best is the border, because you have millions of people coming in a month, and then she gets up and she tries to pretend like she's going to do something. She had 3.5 years. And by the way, they have another 5 months that they can do something, but they
Yeah.
won't do anything. It's all talk. She's
No.
incompetent and he's incompetent. And frankly, I think that she's more incompetent than he is. And that's saying something because he's not too
Elon is
good.
trying to guide Trump, and Trump
Yeah.
isn't
No,
following his
I think
instructions.
it is. essential to have a secure border. I mean, you're really not a country unless you have a
Correct.
secure border, and
And
uh,
secure elections
you
too.
know, yeah, absolutely secure elections, and so it's just essential to have a real border, or we can't function as a country, and our service, our central services are being overwhelmed in a lot of cities, um, and as we were talking about earlier, I think having a legal immigration process that is smooth and efficient and done well, and speaking as someone who is a legal immigrant, and I think I mean, like one way to think of it is, who do you want on your team? Um, who do you want on Team America? And I think we want to just say, okay, we want to let in people who are gonna, be great contributors to our society and to our economy,
Right.
and and who do you want on the team? And it's not to say that, like in my opinion, actually, I'd say like probably most of the illegal immigrants actually are actually good, hardworking people. That's my opinion. Um, but some are not, and you just have this sort of adverse selection process where, if somebody's if somebody's like you know, um, uh, has a career in theft or robbery. I don't understand what's taken them so long to get here, because we're such a target-rich environment. Um, I mean, why aren't they? Why aren't more people who have a career in, bad things coming here sooner? Because I mean, it's a piece of cake to go rob, houses in L.A. or New York, compared to other parts of the world, and in a lot of places in America, if you try to stop the person who's robbing you, you'll be arrested.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's insane.
It's right. I mean, what's happening with crime, and our police are so good, but they're not allowed to do their job.
These are
But I have
live
to
tweets
tell you,
about
Elon, I
this
They're
hate
not.
to say it because
conversation.
it's such a downer to say it. I hate to say it. I hate it, but you have a lot of people that just shouldn't be. I think it's a much bigger number than you think. They're
I
allowing,
think you're
again,
right.
they're
Yeah.
allowing people from their jails. And if you were running one of these countries where they're coming from, you would have had all of them. As an example, Venezuela, their crime is down 72%. They're taking their drug dealers, they're taking, frankly, their prisoners, they're emptying out their prisons. They're taking their criminals, their murderers, their rapists, and they're
Yeah.
delivering them into
But
the.
that's what Castro did
Yeah,
that.
well, he did on a much smaller scale.
Yeah.
It was a much smaller
Yeah.
scale. But this is a massive scale because this is being done worldwide. But here's what's happening: crime all over the world is down. And wait till you see the numbers that we have. This is migrant crime. This is crime that's going to be.
Yeah.
And I saw it today in New York where somebody was knifed with raped the girlfriend of a man that stood there watching in New York in one of the shelters and started
Sure.
pulling out the knives and bad things.
Oh shit, my bad, guys.
Things,
There you go.
and they're releasing them into our country, and they're telling them, if you come back, we're going to kill you. We're going to give you the death penalty or kill you. So they don't want to come back. But these are rough people.
Yeah.
These are criminals that make our criminals look like nice people, and it's horrible what they're doing. And she's in charge of it because now she's trying to say she
Sure.
had nothing to do with it, and she's such a liar because she was called the border czar the first day, and it was on the headlines of every newspaper. She's the border czar, and she never even went there. She went to one location which had nothing to do with where the problem is. She went in and out, I
Right.
guess, because she was getting a lot of pressure,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
had nothing to do where the
There we go.
problem
Yeah.
is. But she was
Well.
the
Well.
border czar, and people
Yeah. Yeah.
can't allow them to get away with their disinformation campaign. Now she's trying to say that she wasn't really involved, and the whole thing is horrible. She was totally in charge. She could have shut the border down without him. He didn't know what he was doing anyway, so he wouldn't have even known
Yeah.
what happened. You could shut the border down. He
Yeah.
wouldn't even know the difference. But uh, the fact is that she was border czar. But if you don't have to call her
Yes.
that, the fact is you could just call her. She was in charge of the border, and the border was the worst
Right.
ever.
It's simply not working.
No,
It's
it's
I mean,
horrible.
whether it's by whether it's a question of of intention or competence. Either way, we don't have a secure border, and we have people streaming over like it looks like a World War Z zombie apocalypse at times. And sometimes you got to sort of wonder, like, is it real or not? So because you see things, you're like, is it real? So I went to the border at Eagle Pass, and I saw for myself in Texas, and I was like, okay, it's real. I'm like seeing this in real time. I actually posted the video like just live. I just flew there one day and just to see, hey, is this made up or real? And I'm just seeing people stream across the border, and I have to say, at least the people that I saw did not look friendly. So
These are
people
people.
can look at my video and say, hey,
Yeah.
does these people look friendly? I don't look super friendly. So
These are people that
um,
Elon would not be the same man if he had to walk across the street and look these people in the eye. These are rough people. These are really rough people coming across. And I know rough people. And these are people that we don't want in our country. And the caravans are coming in and they're putting and who's doing this are the heads of the countries. And you would be doing
yeah,
it, and so would I. And everyone would say, oh, what a terrible thing to say. The fact is, it's brilliant for them because they're taking all of their bad people, really bad people. And I hate to say this, the reason the numbers are much bigger than you would think is they're also taking their non-productive people. Now, these aren't people that will kill you. We have enough of them, but these are people that are non-productive. They are just not productive. I mean, for whatever reason, they're not
yeah.
workers or they don't want to work or whatever. And these countries are getting rid of non-productive people in the caravans in many cases, and they're also getting rid of their murderers and their drug dealers and the people that are
Yeah,
really brutal people. And they're coming into our country
yeah,
at levels that have never been seen before. And I saw an ad just before I got on the air. I'm walking over here, and I saw an ad by Kamala saying how she is going to provide border security. Where has she been for 3.5 years? For 3.5 years,
yeah. No, this
we have 20 million people
I
poured
think
in.
is.
It's a terrible
Yeah, I
thing.
think this, frankly, I think this is a fundamental existential issue for the United States. And if we have another 4 more years of open borders, and it's going to be even worse with another 4 more years, it's going to be even worse than it's been for the past, 3.5 years. I'm not sure we've got a country
You don't have
left
a country
at that
left.
point.
Elon, if they get in, you will have 50 to 60 million people from all over the world, not South America only. We think of South America, we think of Honduras and El Salvador, Guatemala, and Mexico, the four. But it's not that. It's everywhere. They're coming in from
Yeah,
everywhere. And I had to stay in
yeah, I think
Mexico.
this is a super important
Yeah.
point. Like people, it's like basically when I went down there, I was like, well, where are people from? It's like almost no one was from Mexico. To be
No,
clear,
Mexico
it's
less,
it's just it's just
less
it's
than
just the
the others.
border. It's just the border with Mexico. But the people coming in, it's Earth, the rest of Earth, and America is only about 4 or 5% of the population of Earth. It would only take a few percent of the rest of Earth to overwhelm everything in the
We're
U.S.
already
So
overwhelmed, Elon. We're overwhelmed. You had to see the news tonight about New York. New York, and I love that place, and what they're doing to it is horrible, what they're doing to it. And all the courts do is they
yeah,
try and focus on Trump. Okay, then let's focus on Trump, who did nothing wrong. I complain about a rigged election. Elon, what's happened is unbelievable. You have from Africa, from the Congo, they're coming from the Congo, and 22 people came in from the Congo recently, and they're murderers, and they're dropped.
It's
They
crazy to hear
drop
all
them.
these
They
thoughts on
take them
Twitter.
out of jails, which is very expensive, to maintain the jails. Although they don't do too much maintaining, I can tell you. But they take them out of jails, prisons. They take them out and they bring them to the United States. They deposit them in the United States and say, "Don't ever come back, or you're going to be executed." And they don't want to come back, but they won't come back.
sure.
But they're coming from Africa. They're coming from Asia. They're coming from the Middle East. They're coming from South
Well,
America.
just
They're
Earth,
coming from
rest of Earth,
everywhere.
basically.
And there are a lot of
Yeah,
really
everywhere on
bad
Earth.
ones.
It's just an everywhere on Earth thing, and it's just not possible for the United States to absorb everyone from Earth, or even a few percent of the rest of Earth. It's just not possible.
Well,
So
Elon, we're going to have
that's
just to
yeah,
finish this up. We're going to have the largest deportation in history of this country, and we have no choice. Otherwise, we're going to have a country. What they've done to our
Mass
country.
deportation.
Think of it, with in Venezuela and in some of these other countries. Crime is down 50, 60, 70, 80%. And you would be the same. You would have,
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
tell you what, Venezuela has not gotten rid of all of them. They've gotten rid of about 70% of their really bad people. Their jails are about 50% uh, put into the United States. The same with other countries. Some
sure.
are at 30%, some are at 50%. They're all different. But the bottom line is they're all going to be at 100%. Why wouldn't you put 100% of,
Yeah,
and they're doing it right now while this third-rate phony candidate, don't forget, I beat Biden. He failed in the debate miserably. And, some people said, oh, gee, it's too bad. It's too bad he did so badly, or I did well in the debate. The first night they said, wow. One of the people at CNN said that was the greatest debate performance I've ever witnessed. And then 2 days later, they didn't talk about that. They just said he was bad. But that's okay. That's the way I get treated. And I don't mind that at all. What I can tell you is this. We cannot have a Democrat. We cannot have her. She's incompetent. She's as bad as Biden in a
it's
different. Look,
yeah.
she hasn't done an
I mean,
interview since this
yeah,
whole scam started.
well,
And say what you want. This
yeah,
was a coup. This was a coup of a president of the United States. He didn't want to leave, and they said we can do it the nice
yeah.
way or we can do it the
No,
hard way.
yeah. Not, I'm just
All I'm
talking
putting
about
is the
back
Boondocks
behind the shed
episode.
and
I'm
basically
a
shot him.
warrior.
What they did
Biden.
with this guy,
So
and I'm no
yeah,
fan of his, and he was a horrible president, the worst president in history. And one of the reasons he was so bad, first of all, the Israeli attack would have never happened. Russia would never have attacked Ukraine, and we'd have no inflation. And we wouldn't have had the Afghanistan mess, if you think of it.
well,
If
And
I
we
was
wouldn't
Trump,
have
I
had
would miss Joe
yeah,
Biden
Afghanistan.
too.
But we think of it,
well, yeah.
you take a few of those events away, and we have a different world. We would also have
No,
no
no, you're yeah.
inflation was caused by oil.
Yeah, no, no. I think you're making an excellent point here, which is that when other countries can, that are, are thinking about invading or doing bad things, when they're thinking about that, they're thinking about, okay, what's the American president going to do, and do they fear the American president, or is there someone they do not respect or and do not fear? And I
1.2
think
million watching.
they would they rightfully be. I mean, look at the footage
Audio
of
is
the
good.
assassination. They're like, okay, uh, President Trump is like, don't mess with me. I mean, that's like, but whereas I think people are not going to be, and they obviously have not been at all intimidated by Biden, and they certainly will not be intimidated by Kamala. And you have to really think of that in the context of global security. That if the American president is someone that like evil dictators are scared of, that makes a huge difference to the security of the world.
So I had a good relationship with Putin, despite the Russia hoax that lasted for over 2 years. Just a hoax created by Hillary Clinton and Adam Shifty Schiff, some just bad people, just sick people,
Dude, this
frankly. I
is
mean,
not the way I
Schiff is
thought
a
this
sick
was going
person.
to go
He's going to
down.
end up probably being a
This is not
senator.
as good of a
It's hard to
conversation as I would
believe.
have
The
liked
whole
from
thing is hard to believe.
Trump and
But,
Elon.
they put our country in danger with that stuff, too. They actually, when they make up stories, and you have to fight your way out of it for a long time. But I know Putin very well. I got along with him very well. He respected me, and it's just one of those things. And we would talk a lot about Ukraine. It was the apple of his eye. But I said, don't ever do it. Don't ever do it. I shut down Nord Stream 2. That was the big oil pipeline, the biggest, I think, the biggest pipeline in the world going all over Europe. I shut it down. Biden came, and then they say,
Yeah,
I loved Russia. I was a friend of Putin, and I loved Russia. No, he actually said to me one time, he said, if you're my friend, I'd hate to see you as an enemy. I shut down his pipeline, the biggest pipeline. They were looking at that to
yeah,
fund, and this pathetic president gets in there, and the first thing he did, one of the early things he did, is he shut down. He shut down Keystone XL pipeline, which is our pipeline that would have employed 48,000 people, pipeline workers, shuts it down. That was, a massive job that Obama refused to allow.
yeah,
I allowed it in my first week because it was jobs and it moved oil. And by the way, in a much more environmentally friendly way. It's underground. It's not a truck that catches on fire or a train that catches on fire. But think of it. He shut down the uh, XL pipeline, the Keystone XL pipeline. He
yeah.
shuts that down and he approves the Russian pipeline,
Yeah, it doesn't make any
right?
sense. It's inconsistent. Certainly but I mean, I think it's just worth emphasizing to listeners that the immense importance of whether the United States president is intimidating or not intimidating, and how much that matters to global security. Because
He has a point there.
there's
There
some
you go.
real tough
Starting to get
characters out
something
there,
going
and if
on.
they don't think the American president is tough, they will do what they want to
I
do,
know every one of
and
them.
that puts it puts the whole
Yeah.
world in danger.
Elon, I know every one
It's
of
a
them,
big
and I know
deal.
them well. I know
Yeah,
Putin. I know President Xi. I know Kim Jong-un of North Korea. I know every one of them. And let me tell you, people will say, oh, this is terrible. He said, I'm not saying anything good or bad. They're at the top of their game. They're tough. They're smart. They're vicious. And they're going to protect their country, whether they love their country. They probably do. It's just a different form of love, but they're going to protect their country. But these are
yeah,
tough people at the top of their game. And when they see a Kamala or when they see Biden, Sleepy Joe, they can't even
yeah,
believe it. They can't believe this happened. All the stuff that you're seeing now, all the horror that you look at Israel, they're all waiting for an attack from Iran. Iran would not be attacking, believe me. You know, when I was there, and I say it with respect because I think we would have been good with Iran. I don't want to do anything bad to Iran, but they knew not to mess around. Iran was broke because I told China, if you buy from Iran oil, it's all about the oil. That's where the money is. But if you buy oil from Iran, you're not going to do any business with the United States. And I meant it. And they said, we'll
yeah,
pass.
yeah.
They didn't buy oil. Other countries, likewise,
Sure.
you want to buy, you're not doing business with the United States. And they were at a point where they had no money for Hamas. They had no money for Hezbollah. They had no money for any of these instruments of terror. And it was amazing. In fact, there were articles when I was leaving, which is hard to believe, actually, especially when you look at what's happened to our country. Our country is so bad right now. It's such a different place. We were respected. Think of it. 4 years ago, we were so respected to a point where when I said don't buy oil, they didn't buy oil, but they had no
Yeah,
money
yeah,
and Israel would have never been attacked. It is zero chance. And again, I said to Vladimir Putin, I said, don't do it. You can't do it, Vladimir. You do it, it's going to be a bad day. You cannot do it.
Don't do it,
And
Vladimir.
I told him things that what I
Vladimir.
do. And he said, no way. And I said, way. And you know, it's the last time we ever had the conversation. He would
Way.
never have done. I got along well with him. I hope to get along well with him again. You know, getting along well with them is a good thing, not a bad thing. I got along well with Kim
yeah,
Jong Un when I met with President Obama just before entering. You know, it's a sort of a ritual. And I sat down with him and we talked. It was supposed to be for a very short period of time. It turned out to be a long period of time. I said, "What's the biggest problem?" He said, "North Korea." I had that problem worked out very quickly. It was nasty at the beginning with Rocket Man and all the different things,
yeah.
but all of a sudden I
Those
got a
some those
call.
those some
Oh,
those were some epic tweets, by the way.
yeah, they
Those
were
were
no,
like
they were epic
absolutely.
everything. He said that he has a red button on his desk. I said, I have a red button on my desk too, but my red button is much bigger and my red button works. And then I called him Little
Yeah.
Rocket Man of Little Rocket Man. Anyway, here's the bottom line. All of a sudden I got a call from him and they said they want to meet. They want to meet me. And we met,
Yeah.
as you remember, we met in Singapore. We met also in Vietnam. And I got along with them great. We were
Yeah.
in no danger. But
Yeah.
President Obama,
It's
President
because
Obama thought
they
we were going to
respond.
end up in
Yeah.
a nuclear war with him. And let me tell you, he's
Yeah.
got a
It's not
lot of
true.
nuclear
Yeah,
stuff too. He's
exactly.
got plenty of nuclear.
It's
He can do plenty of damage.
it's
So,
yes. I mean, it's because I mean, people like Kim Jong Un. They respond to
yeah.
strength, not weakness.
Well,
And
he and I got it.
if you
He and I
project
had a good
strength, they
relationship.
you're good.
Remember, I
Yeah.
remember I met him and we walked onto his land. Nobody ever walked onto his land before. I walked onto. I wouldn't say.
Yeah.
Let's
That
bring
was
up
cool.
Secret Service again. I wouldn't say they were thrilled when I did that. I walked onto his land, and it was an amazing period. But we were not in danger with him because of me. You know, I always
Yeah.
say that we have enemies on the outside and we have enemies on the inside. We have some really bad people in our government and people that are and controlling of the people. I mean, I'd mention names, but I really don't want to give them the credit. But we have some really bad, and I say they're more dangerous than Russia and China. If you have a smart president, a president that gets it, we are not in danger from those countries because they need us and they need our help. I mean, we forced Obama, if you think about it, Obama and Biden and Bush to a certain extent, in all fairness, forced Russia and China together. And if you're a history student, the first thing you learn is you cannot let Russia and China align. But then they also got, if you take a look, Iran, and they have North Korea. That's, they call it the axis of evil. In the old days, you had the axis of evil. Here we have a modern day axis of evil. These are powerful countries, very heavy nuclear, which is the biggest threat. The biggest threat is not global warming, where the ocean's going to rise one eighth of an inch over the next 400 years. And you'll have more oceanfront property, right? The biggest threat is not that. The biggest threat is nuclear warming, because we have 5 countries now that have significant nuclear power.
He made Elon
and
laugh.
we have to not allow anything to happen with stupid people like Biden. Biden did something with Russia. There was no chance of him ever going in. And when I left, and
He should be
then
attacking
after I left,
Kamala
they
right now. He
started
should be
forming
attacking Kamala, not
big
Biden.
armies on the border with Ukraine, right? And I looked at that, and I thought he was doing that because Putin's a good negotiator. I thought he was doing that to negotiate. But then Biden started saying such stupid things. For instance, he said that it can be a NATO country. Now, Russia, for as long as there's been NATO, has said we're never going to agree to that. And we go right up front and say that. And we did things and said things through this president with a low IQ, very low IQ. He had a low IQ 30 years ago, by the way, but now he might not even have a IQ at all. There's nothing on the board that goes this low. He said things that were so stupid that war would have been, that war had zero chance of happening if I were there. Zero chance. He was saying everything the opposite, everything the opposite. And it's so sad because many more people have been killed in Ukraine than you read about. You don't read about how bloody it is and how disaster.
Sure.
Hey, look, just in the 2 armies, you lost 500,000 people. And Ukraine's having a hard time. Ukraine, I don't know if you saw the article recently, and it's true. You don't hear the true story. But if you think about it, Russia's gone, Russia defeated Germany with us, and they defeated Napoleon. They've been around a long time. They're a big fighting force.
Sure.
And it's very unfair. And Ukraine now doesn't have enough men. They're now using young men and very old men to fight. And we're in a very bad position. And I'm not going to blame exclusively, but I can tell you I could have stopped that. And a smart president could have stopped that. It wouldn't have happened. But we had a man that actually made it more prevalent. It was so bad. The words that he was using, the stupid threats coming from a stupid face that he was using. I said, this guy's going to cause us a war. He's going to cause us. And let me tell you, it can lead to World War III. That can lead to World War III. The Middle East can lead to. We have numerous places that could end up in a World War III right now for no reason whatsoever.
I think you're right. I think people underrate the risk of World War III, and it's just when you're looking at the risk of global thermonuclear warfare, it's game over for humanity, and it's something that people have, I think, after the end of the Cold War, people have become complacent about, but they actually have forgotten that there are currently a lot of nuclear missiles that have targeting parameters for the United States from other
100%.
countries.
And one of the things
And,
we're going to do is
it's-
we're going to build an Iron Dome over us. Israel has it. We're going to have the best Iron Dome in the world. We need it, and we're going to make it all in the United States. But we're going to have protection, because it just takes one maniac to start something. We're going to have protection, and we're going to have. Why shouldn't we have an Iron Dome? Israel has one. Some other places have one that nobody even knows about, frankly. But Israel has it. We're going to have an Iron Dome. But
From who,
with all of
Mexico?
that being said, to me that's so important, the most important. But with all of that being said, the election's coming up, and the people want to hear about the economy and the fact that
Absolutely,
they can't
sure.
buy groceries because they don't have enough money to buy groceries. The inflation has killed them. Food prices are up 50, 60, even 100% in some cases. And this stupid administration allowed this to happen.
Elon, go.
And it's a shame.
Talk about inflation. Go.
And that's the thing that people most care about, in my opinion. They care about the border a lot. And we discuss the border at great length. It's nice to have a forum like this where I can discuss something at length. And by the way, you think Biden could do this interview? Do you think that Kamala could do this interview? They would take a pass on
No,
you.
they could not.
So they don't need Elon. They don't need Elon.
He needs to stop attacking Joe Biden and attack Kamala Harris. I swear to fucking God.
That somebody that does this for a living can't answer a question or is afraid to do an interview. And in her case, with a very friendly interview, she's got all friendly interviewers. It's pretty sad.
Yes,
But the
absolutely.
big thing now is the
Well,
economy, Elon.
yeah,
And as much as
yeah,
I mean, I view nuclear as the single most important thing, but a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't understand that. But it doesn't have to. If I understand it, that's all you need. Because if I was president, you're not going to have that kind of a problem. But the thing that they really is making them angry is what Kamala and Biden have allowed to happen to the economy. It's a disaster with inflation. The inflation, it
yeah,
doesn't matter what you make. The inflation is eating you alive. If you're a worker or if you're just a middle income person, you can't afford. 4 years ago, 5 years ago, people were saving a lot of money. Today, they're using
yeah.
all their money and borrowing money just to live. It's a horrible thing
Right.
that's happening, and we'll end that
Well, I think
quickly.
a lot of yeah, a lot of people just don't understand where inflation comes from. Inflation comes from government overspending because the checks never
There we
bounce when
go.
it's written by the government. So
Can Elon
if the government
get
spends
Trump into
far
this
more than
topic?
it brings in, that increases the money supply, and if the money supply increases faster than the rate of goods and services,
That's right.
that's inflation. Um, so really, we need to have we need to reduce our government spending, and we need to re-examine. I think we need like a government efficiency commission to say like, hey, where are we spending money that's sensible? Where is it not
Right.
sensible? And we need to live within our means. We're currently adding, I think, $1 trillion to the deficit roughly
Right.
every 100 days.
That's right.
And the interest payments on the national debt have now exceeded the defense budget. It's on the order of $1 trillion,
It's interest.
and it keeps
Yeah, I
growing.
rebuilt our military, largely rebuilt our military, did a great job on it, which was so important. We had jets, we had fighters that were, and bombers that were 70 years old, and we did a great job in that. Then by the way, then we gave 85 billion of it back to Afghanistan, if you can believe it. We gave them 85 billion. They're one of the largest sellers
Yeah.
of military equipment in the world. They're selling what we gave them.
Sometimes I believe,
That
after
was
listening
one
to
of the most
politicians, whether it's Trump or
embarrassing days
Kamala,
in
I
the
feel like
history
I
of
could
our
be a
country.
politician.
But
Because
if you
I
think
know where to
about,
like
let's go
poke.
back
You know what
to
I mean? You poke those
the
topics.
economy. We have to bring energy
Yeah.
prices down. Energy started it. The price of gasoline. Now your cars don't require too much gasoline, so you have a good, and you do make a great product. I have to say, I have to be honest with you.
Thank
That
you.
doesn't mean everybody should have an electric car, but these are minor details. But your product is incredible. But the
Thank you.
gasoline, Elon, is the cost of energy. Not only gasoline, it's the cost of heating your house and cooling your house. That has
Sure.
to come down. It's gone up 100%, 150, and 200%, and that has to come down. When that comes down, and we're going to
Yeah.
drill, baby, drill. They stopped drilling, and then they went back to drilling because they went back to the Trump policy. But if they won the day after they get into office, this country will go out of business because they're going to go to an energy policy that's not sustainable. Wind and
In
different things.
2030, I can actually run.
You're not going to have anything.
Yeah.
And I know you're a big fan of the AI, and I have to say
Yeah.
that AI, and this is shocking to me, but AI requires twice the energy that the country already produces for everything. So you're going to have to build. We're going to have to build a lot of energy if our country will be competitive with China, because that's our primary competitor for this on the AI. You're
Sure.
going to need a lot of
Well, I mean,
electricity. You're going to need tremendous
yeah.
electricity, like almost double what we produce now for the whole country, if you can believe it.
Sure. Well, just going, back to this, like this basic thing, which that people try to make it sound complicated, but it's not. But inflation is caused by government
Right.
overspending. Would you agree that we need to take a look at government
Yes.
spending and have perhaps a government efficiency commission that just tries to make the spending sensible and so the country lives within its means, just like a
The
person does?
waste is incredible, and
Bitcoin is
nobody
flat
It
right
is.
negotiates
now.
prices. You used to have a lot of people making jets, and you end up with two companies, and they'll probably
The
try and
start,
merge at some point.
up,
I
dip,
mean,
flat.
I went through it like Air Force, just a thing like Air Force One. One of the first documents they asked me to sign, a general walks in, sir, would you please sign this document? And what is it? Air Force One. That's with Boeing. which is basically two planes, two 747s, and the price was
Yeah.
$5.7 billion
Hey,
for
Turtle,
two
happy to see you,
planes.
man.
Now they're
Wow.
highly sophisticated.
That's
They're
insane.
even nicer than your plane, okay? But much more sophisticated. They're very, I won't say what's on it, but they got a lot of stuff on it. Anyway, but it's
Sure.
5.7. I
That's a crazy
It's a
number.
crazy number, but I said, I'm not going to pay 5.7. I'm not going to do it. I said, who made the deal? Obama and his people. I said, well, then I know the deal's no good. I'm not going to do it. And over a course of about 4 weeks, by my saying I'm not going to do it, I got the price reduced by $1.6 billion for the exact same plane, other than we had a nicer paint job, if you want to know the truth. But for the exact same plane, I saved one. And I said to Boeing, man, you guys must make a lot of money if you can reduce the price by that. But now what I do hear is that they're going back to the Biden administration and wanting big cost overruns, because they see these dopey suckers in there, and they'll end up getting some of the money back. But I shaved it by $1.6 billion for the exact same plane. And you can now take that and multiply that out times thousands of other
Exactly.
items. And
Multiply it by
yeah,
a
the
zillion,
numbers are
and yeah.
astronomical. I agree with you.
Well, I mean, if so, I think it would be great to just have a government efficiency commission that takes a look at these things and just ensures that the taxpayer money, the taxpayers' hard-earned money, is spent in a good way. I'd be happy to help out on such a commission
I'd love
if
it.
it were formed.
Well, you're the greatest cutter. I mean, I look at what you do. You walk in and you just say, "You want to quit?" They go on
Yeah.
strike. I won't mention the name of the company, but they go on strike, and you say, "That's okay. You're all gone. You're all gone." So every one of you is gone, and you are the greatest. You would be very good. Oh, you would love it. But if you look at Argentina.
Well, I'd be happy to
Yeah, by
help
the way,
out.
congratulations. I
Yeah.
just looked at the number of people that are listening to you and I chat. We'll call it a chat, but
Yeah.
Call it. It
congratulations.
is a
This is
chat.
very good. I mean, it's great. And you're an interesting character. The new head of a place called Argentina, and he's a big,
Malay's awesome.
he's great. And
Yeah.
he's a
1.3
big MAGA
million.
fan, that he ran on MAGA. And he took it to an extreme too. He ran on MAGA, and I hear he's doing really a terrific job. It's called Make Argentina Great Again. It worked out perfectly. He came in, he bought a lot of hats, he brought over, but he's doing a big job. He really cut. And I'm hearing
Yeah.
they're starting to do pretty well. Inflation's getting down. They had like
Yes, exactly.
2,000%. And they had inflation like not normal inflation. They had the real deal. But we're going to
Yeah.
have that pretty soon. We have, I think we
Yeah.
have the worst inflation we've had in 100 years. They say it's 48 years. I don't believe it. I think we have the worst. They
Yeah.
don't include a lot of the items that should be included. You know.
Yeah. Well, it's just from government overspending and not spending taxpayer money
Yeah,
effectively, and having just like so many departments, you can't even name them all. And what Malay is doing is he's cutting government spending. He's simplifying things. He's having putting in regulations that make sense, and we're Argentina overnight is experiencing a giant improvement
that's
in
right.
prosperity. But it's also a lesson for the United States, which is that um, Argentina used to be one of the most prosperous countries in the world. Um,
That's right.
in the like in the 30s, 40s, and because of bad government policy, it ruined the country. And if you take Venezuela, for example, Venezuela should be incredibly prosperous. They have phenomenal reserves of everything, oil, everything, and it should be prosperous. But if the government's wrong, it impoverishes the people. And so I think we should not be complacent in the United States in thinking that and taking our prosperity for granted, because if with bad government policy, we can run the country into the ground. And that's just something people should bear in mind. Don't take prosperity for granted.
Well, think of education. So we're ranked at the bottom of every list of the top 40. We're ranked number 40, number 38. Uh, Norway, Switzerland, Sweden, different countries are ranked good. Actually, China's pretty close to the top. They're a top 6 or 7, but we're ranked at the bottom, almost at the bottom, 38, 39, 40. In other words, horrible. And yet we spend more per pupil than any other country in the world. So we spend more. And what I'm going to do, one of the first acts, and this is where I need an Elon Musk. I need somebody that has a lot of strength and courage and smarts. I want to close up Department of Education, move education back to the states, where
Yeah.
where states like Iowa, where states like Idaho,
Education
not
Secretary
every state will
Elon
do
Musk.
great because states that basically aren't doing good now. You look at Gavin Newsom, the governor of California.
Do
He
scum. Oh,
he's terrible. He does a terrible job. So he's not going to do great with education. But of the
Yeah.
50, I would bet that 35 would do great, and 15 of
Yeah.
them, or 20 of them will be as good as Norway. Norway is considered great. You can name them. I mean, they're so good. Some of
Yeah.
these countries are so good. But if you go into some of these really well-run states, we have states that don't know what debt is. We have states that have low taxes, no debt, everybody working. They're really well run,
Sure.
and maybe they have certain advantages in terms of location, in terms of the land or the sun, and the water and the whole thing. There are a lot of advantages that some people have. But if you moved education back to the 50, you'll have some that won't do well, but they'll actually be forced to do better because it'll be a pretty bad situation.
Yeah.
But if you think
Well,
about it,
yeah.
you'll have some
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
these states. I'll bet you'd have 30, 35 states. It'll be much better. And you know what it'll cost? Less than
Yeah.
half what it is in Washington. And
Yeah.
these people don't care
Well,
about the
yeah.
students in these faraway states, and it'd
Well,
be unbelievable.
yeah. I think you're making a good point in that if the states have to if each state has to compete against other states, then people will
That's
naturally
right.
move to states where it's better.
Well, like
Um,
California, as we said, it's a badly run state. I could go through it. I got so many friends that are in those states, even if they're Democrats. I hate to mention certain states, but Illinois is badly run with Pritzker. He's a real loser. But
yeah.
but some of these places are just badly run. But it's almost going to force them to run better, and they won't do it good initially. But you're not going to do worse than you're doing right now. And I would say that
Yeah.
the cost, you would cut your cost by 50 or 60%. And you'd have a little
Yeah. Yeah.
monitor. You want to make sure they're teaching English as an example. Give us a
Yeah.
little English, right?
Sure, yeah.
Right?
No, but I mean, to
I
your
hate
point,
English class.
some of these governors are doing so badly. I mean, they got so many people moving out of their state. They should get U-Haul Salesman of the Year award because they're driving so much U-Haul
It's
sales.
actually
Because just
amazing.
people moving out.
Oh,
Isn't it
Yeah,
dude, rich
amazing to
jokes
you
go
as a
over my head.
businessman that they can even survive? Like Illinois, so many people are leaving, and you wonder, how do they survive? I mean, how do they survive? Uh, I saw where you left California and you moved to Texas. Texas does a great job. But, I
yeah,
mean, I just wonder, how do these states survive when big businesses, a big oil company just left California, as you know, and they moved to Texas. How do these big states survive when they lose so many businesses and their taxes are already really high? The taxes are among the highest
yeah.
taxes. You almost wonder, how do they continue on? And in many cases, the governors don't do a good job in their crime-ridden places. You wonder, how do they continue to just go on? It's
Well,
not a good
I think there's.
situation.
I mean, I think the only thing that's going to force some of these states to change is if they risk bankruptcy and they're not getting bailed out by the federal
Right,
government.
right. Well,
That's
you're
the
going to
only thing
have
that's going to
that.
get them to change.
You remember the
Yeah,
area in California where they had that, where I guess somebody had sticky fingers and they stole a lot of money, and they went into a form of chapter, and it was very
yeah,
nasty for
yeah,
a period of time. But now it's probably the most popular place in all of California. So at some point, something like that may have to happen. But the problem is, you can't penalize people that loan money to the state when you have incompetent people like a Pritzker. Look, the family didn't want him in the family business, and then he ends up being governor of Illinois. So what is he going to be? Is he going to be a great governor? And you have people. I could name every one of them. I got to know every one of
yep.
these, and some are very good, and some are just horrible.
Thanks, Stacker.
Well, I think that the larger point here, too, as you're saying, like a lot of people are concerned about the economy, a lot of people are concerned about inflation, and inflation is effectively a tax on people that save money
Yeah.
and for people that are working day to.
He's giving them a runway. Trump has to land this.
And if we can solve the government spending problem, we'll solve the inflation problem, which means people will have a better standard of living, and
Yeah.
that's a really big
Well, the
deal.
people that got hurt worse are the people that did it the way they were taught to do it all through, their younger life and their young life and their whole life. The people that saved money and then they got no interest on their money and inflation destroyed them. And frankly, they were almost better off if they didn't do anything like that. I mean, those people have been absolutely decimated, and we're going to bring those people back and help those people. We've got to get the prices down. When I look at bacon costing 4 or 5 times more than it did a few years ago,
Sure.
when you look at some of the food products in grocery stores, people go, they can't believe it. They used to be able to buy a whole cart, and
My
today,
Hempler's bacon costs
a
like
lot of
12
people
bucks.
just don't have the money. They go in and they can't buy anything. They look at
Yeah,
it's sticker
I
shock.
think
They call it
yeah.
sticker shock, right?
I think it really just comes, like I said, I think it just comes down to really, I guess, two things, which is that if you solve government overspending, you solve inflation, which improves living
Right.
standards of the average person, and then if you deregulate, like have sensible regulations, so because a lot of the regulations are nonsensical and cause the cost to be extreme for no reason, but unless you've got effective deregulation, like Reagan did a great job on deregulation in the 80s, but it's been 40 years since we had
That's right.
anyone really. I mean, during your administration, we made some progress, but I think there's an opportunity to make, I think, radical progress with sensible regulation.
Yeah.
And
Well,
if those
Elon,
those two things, yeah, those are the big
we
deals.
set a record. We did more deregulation and more restrictions on all of the different businesses than any other president. Remember, I had the rule for everyone we put in, you have to get rid of 10 or 12. And we
10.99
we did
Hempler's bacon.
radical
My
cuts
favorite,
on
but I
all of
don't eat it
that,
too
and a
much.
lot of that's being put back by this administration. And we did radical cuts on things that weren't necessary. But we were all set. We had the best economy ever, maybe in the world. And then what happened is COVID came in, and we had to focus on that, and nobody knew what it was. And I always say I got good marks on economy, good marks on military. We knocked out ISIS. We did so many different
Who
things. We
doesn't like
rebuilt.
bacon?
But, I never got the credit that we really deserved on what we did with COVID. We never got the credit. But if had that not happened, a gift from China, from Wuhan, came in from Wuhan, the Wuhan labs, and I always said it, and it turned out to be right. But
Yeah,
had that not happened, we were set to start reducing debt. We were going to reduce taxes further. I gave the largest tax cuts, and we were going to reduce taxes still further for middle income people, not only businesses.
Those
But
astronauts
we did
trapped in
it for
space, I
businesses
forgot
because they're
about
the
them.
ones that.
They're gone for
That's
like a
why we
year or
had the
something.
great job numbers. But we were set to really start reducing debt, and we're sitting on the biggest pile of liquid gold anywhere in the world, bigger than Saudi Arabia, bigger than Russia. And we were going to drill, and we were going to make so much money. We were going to supply Europe with oil. I had stopped the Russian pipeline, and we were going to supply them with oil and gas. We were going to make a fortune. And then the COVID came in, and we really had to divert. Then what happened is when they came in, we kept a lot of businesses alive. If I didn't do what we did, we would have had a 1929 type depression. But the problem is when Biden came in, he got trillions of dollars and just started spending it stupidly. You didn't need it anymore. We got over that bad period where everybody was dying and feeling, it was
He's making good points. He's just not articulating them quite well.
his administration. Many more people died during his administration of COVID than during my administration, and we really got the brunt of it. But people don't realize more people died during his administration than ours. But it diverted us from doing what I wanted to do. But we had the greatest for almost 3 years. We had the
yeah,
great, and you know that probably better than anybody. So many of your friends said to me, the best years we've ever had in business were during the Trump years, and also said that African American, Hispanic American were so incredible. They were having the best Asian American women, men, young people without a diploma, young people that graduated from the best colleges, from MIT, from the Wharton School, from all of the great colleges, Harvard. They were doing better, and people without a diploma were doing better. and everybody was happy. And then COVID came, and
Sure.
we had the problem is they spent trillions and trillions of dollars. They wasted. They shouldn't have taken any money, and we wouldn't be having inflation right now, which is killing our country.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and absolutely. And I mean, I should probably say something about like maybe my views on climate change
Yeah,
and oil and gas, because I think it's probably different from what most people would assume. Because my views are actually pretty, I think, moderate in this regard, which is that I don't think we should vilify the oil and gas industry and the people that have worked very hard in those industries to provide the necessary energy to support the economy. And if we were to stop using oil and gas right now, we would all be starving and the economy would collapse. So I don't think it's right to sort of vilify the oil and gas industry. The world has a certain demand for oil and gas, and it's probably better if the United States provides that than some other
sure.
countries. And it would help with prosperity in the U.S. And at the same time, obviously, my view is like we do over time want to move to a sustainable energy economy, because eventually you do run out of. I mean, you run out of oil and gas. It's not infinite. Um, and there is some risk. I think the risk is not as high as a lot of people say it is with respect to global warming. But I think if you just keep increasing the parts per million in the atmosphere long enough, eventually it actually simply gets uncomfortable to breathe. People don't realize this. If you go past 1,000 parts per million of CO2, you start getting headaches and nausea. And so we're now in the sort of 400 range. We're adding, I think, about roughly 2 parts per million per year. So I mean, it still gives us. So what it means is like we still have quite a bit of time, but so there's not like we don't need to rush, and we don't need to like stop farmers from farming, or you know uh, prevent people from having steaks or
Right,
basic stuff
right.
like that. Like you can leave the farmers alone,
I agree.
in
How
my opinion.
crazy is that where
I mean,
you have farmers that are not allowed to farm anymore and have to get rid of their cattle, and the whole world is
yeah,
a
that's
little
silly.
crazy, but it's largely taken its lead from us. I just say though, I've heard in terms of the fossil fuel, because even to create your electric car and create the electricity needed for the electric car.
If they talk about cryptocurrencies, that's not Trump's strong point, but he may give his normal talking points, which may boost Bitcoin. May.
But I do hear we have anywhere from 100 to 500 years left. Much of it hasn't even been found yet.
Yeah,
But there are tremendous, like Anwar. I
Elon.
got Anwar in
Yeah.
Alaska
Yeah.
approved.
Yeah.
Ronald Reagan couldn't do it. Nobody could do it. Everybody tried. Nobody could do it. I got it approved. The first thing that Biden did was unimprove to get rid of it. He ended
yeah.
it. His secretary
We can
went
open
in
up
and
a
she
YOLO just
ended
in
it.
case he talks about
And
Bitcoin.
what a disgrace. That's Anwar. That's bigger, or they think it could be bigger than Saudi
5 minute
Arabia
chart.
in Alaska. Could be bigger than Saudi Arabia.
Let's do
But
a
they went in and
50x.
they terminated it. And I'll get it going very quickly, because not only is it big for Alaska, I mean, you talk about economic development, that for the United States, I mean, that is, they say bigger than Saudi
Stop
Arabia
loss of
or the same size,
58.5.
and pure,
Yeah.
really good stuff. And, they end it. So I think we have, perhaps hundreds of years left. Nobody really knows. But during
I
that
yeah.
during that
I mean,
time,
my
something will
estimate.
come around that will be
Yeah.
very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and my estimate would be, a little more aggressive than that, but it's not the sort of like we're all going to die in 5 years
60.5.
stuff. That's obviously BS. Um, but I mean, my view is like if you just look at sort of the parts per million that increments every year, you get sort of 2 or 3 parts per million every year of CO2. Uh, y- I mean, I think some of that it's problematic if it accelerates, if you start going from 2 or 3
Right.
to say 5, and then there may be some situations where you
GDP probably
get
goes down.
just a step change increase in the CO2,
Hmm.
um, and I think we don't want to get too close to 1,000 ppm, because like that's actually makes it uncomfortable to to
Getting
to
way
to
into the
breathe.
weeds
Like
here.
just existing in 1,000 ppm CO2 is uncomfortable. That's like that's considered like an industrial hazard.
Right.
Just so so it's that's actually, you start getting headaches and stuff. So it's even without global warming, it's not comfortable to look at. So you don't want to get too close to that. But I mean, I think we've got. I think we want to just move over, and if I don't know, 50 to 100 years from now, we're I don't know, mostly sustainable. I think that'll probably be okay. Um, so it's not like the house is on fire immediately, but I think it is something we need to move towards. And on on balance, it's probably better to move there faster than slower. But like I said, without vilifying the oil and gas industry, and without causing hardship in the short term. I think this can be done without, people can still have, a stake, and they can still drive gasoline
Sure.
cars, and it's okay. It's like, it's not. I don't think we should vilify people for it, but I think we should just generally lean in the direction of sustainability. And I actually think solar is going to be a majority of Earth's energy generation in the future, and it's certainly trending that way.
Mm-hmm.
And so you get the solar power, combine that with batteries, so because obviously the sun doesn't shine at night, and then you use that to charge the electric cars, and you have a long-term sustainable solution. And that's what Tesla's trying to move things towards, and I think we've made a lot of progress in that regard.
Chrysler.
But when you look at our cars, we don't believe that environmentalism, that caring about the environment should mean that you have to suffer. So we make sure that our cars are beautiful, that they drive well, that they're fast, they're
Turn into a commercial.
sexy. I mean, they're cool. In fact, literally, I mean, this sexy joke, Model S, Model 3, Model X, and Y spells out sexy. It's probably the most expensive joke out there. But I don't know. I like cheesy
Never
humor,
thought about that.
So, but I'm not. I'm a big fan of, like, let's have an inspiring future, and let's
Yeah.
let's work towards a better future, and we can do so without demonizing
Right.
people.
I'm okay. It's very interesting. You use the word global warming, and today they use the word climate change because you have some places that go up, and so they were getting themselves in a little trouble with the word global warming because not every place is
Excuse
warming.
me.
Some
They need to
places are
change
going the
topics
opposite
now.
direction. But I'm sort of waiting for you to come up with solar panels on the roofs of your cars and on the trunks of the cars, and it just seems like something that at some point you will come up with. I'm sure you'll be the first.
Mini solar.
But it would seem that a solar panel on the roofs, on flat surfaces, on certain surfaces,
Elon
might
uses
be
the
good.
momentum to
At
reach
least in certain areas
the
of the
momentum
country
to
where you have
redo the
or
car,
the world
re-energize the car,
where you have the sun.
charge
But
the car.
I would think, and I have no idea because that's not my world, but I would think that this would be something that would be interesting. But the one thing that I don't understand is that people talk about global
Inflation
warming or they talk
to
about climate
oil
change, but they never talk
to
about
climate change.
nuclear warming. And to me,
Sure.
that's an
Nuclear
immediate
warming again.
problem because you have, as I said, 5
Is
countries where
nuclear
you have
warming
major
trending right now?
nuclear,
That's the
and
question.
probably some others are getting there, and that's very dangerous. That's where you need a strong American president because you don't want to have this proliferation. But you have 5 countries and getting more. China is much less than us right now, but they're
Scum.
going to catch us sooner than people think. They're way lower. Russia and us are number 1, and I mean, we're sort of tied. And
Dentures.
China is far behind, but they're developing at a level that you're not surprised to hear very fast. They'll end up
No
catching
nuclear
up,
stuff.
maybe even
Yeah.
surpassing. But to me, the biggest
Yeah.
problem is not climate change. It's not,
Bitcoin,
and everything's a problem, but it's degrees. To me, the big problem is the nuclear power. The power
Mars would be
of
aspirational,
nuclear
Caseoh.
is so great.
If I say
And
the
when
name
I
right.
talk
Yeah.
about I'll
Nuclear power
prevent
is
world,
underrated. It's
I'll
awesome.
prevent World War
Yeah.
III, I will. But the truth is that you have to, because this is no longer army tanks going back and forth and shooting at each other. This is
Yeah.
a level of destruction and power that nobody's ever seen before.
Yeah, and actually, there's the bad side of nuclear, which is a nuclear war, very bad side. But there's also, I think,
Nuclear energy.
electricity generation is
Absolutely. You're
underrated.
right.
And it's actually, people have this fear
Good.
of
This is what I
nuclear,
want to hear. I own some.
nuclear electricity generation.
I own some uranium
But
stocks
it's
along with
actually one of
Larry.
the safest forms of electricity generation. It's just a huge misunderstanding. And if you look at the injuries and deaths, caused by, say, I mean, I'm not going to try to pick on coal mining, but just any kind of mining
Right.
operation, And there's a certain number of injuries and deaths per year. And you compare that to nuclear. Nuclear is actually way better. So it's underrated as an electricity source, and I think it's something that's worth reconsidering. But there's so much regulation that people can't get it done. So that
Maybe they'll have
sort
to
of
change the
have it,
name. The name is just, it's a rough name. There are some areas
yeah, it's a rough
like when
name.
you see what happened in,
Good bad
right,
branding. The
we'll have to
branding's rough.
rebrand it. We'll have to give it a good name. We'll name it after you or something.
No,
No,
I
it
don't
has
think so.
hey, it has a branding problem. When you see what happened
It does have a branding problem.
when you see what happened in Japan, where they say you won't be able to go on the land for about 3,000 years. Did you ever see that? And in Russia, where they had the problem, where there's a lot of bad things happened, and they have a problem. And they say that in 2,000 years, people will start to occupy the land again. You realize it's pretty bad.
No,
But
that's not true.
but you're
Well, no,
right
no,
about it. It's amazing.
it's actually not that bad. So like after Fukushima happened in Japan, like people were asking me in California, are we worried about like a nuclear cloud coming from Japan? I'm like, no, that's crazy. It's actually it's not even dangerous in Fukushima. I actually flew there and ate locally grown vegetables on TV to prove it. Um, and I
I would not
donated
do that.
a solar water treatment, a solar powered system for a water treatment plant, and
Yeah, but you haven't
because the
been
danger
feeling
is
so
just
well lately, and I'm worried about it.
no, but I mean
I'm
it's just
only kidding.
it's fine, it's like Hiroshima
What the fuck
and
was that?
Nagasaki were bombed, but now they're like full cities again. So
Right.
it's
Well, that's
clearly
great.
not
That's great.
something that
That's
um,
great.
so it's not as scary as people think, basically. But
Yeah.
um, let's see. I mean, are there some other topics we should touch on? Like lawfare. I think
Well,
we need to be concerned about.
what they've done to
Um,
this country.
obviously,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, we just won the big
I mean,
case in Florida. This was a Biden administration did something that's never been done in this country, and that's go after their political opponent, me, with this nonsense and just nonsense. And the big case in Florida we won, but they always pick a judge and a jury, and they use the local DAs, they use the local attorney generals, like Fani, spelled
yeah,
Fani, Fani, and it's
yeah,
all a big hoax, and it's all run from there. Like in Manhattan, the one of the top people from the Justice Department went in, ran Manhattan, ran the state. The Letitia
Sorry
James
for the
deal
cough.
was run by a person from the Department of Justice, Biden. They've never done this before,
sure,
and they set up a very bad precedent. It's called lawfare, warfare.
yeah,
It's a terrible thing, and never happened in our country. It does happen in banana republics and third world countries, but it's never
yeah,
happened. And the incredible thing is it actually drove my numbers up because people see, fortunately I have a platform like you, or, in all fairness, like a conversation like this, where I can talk about it and people understand. I mean, you fight for election integrity and you end up getting indicted because you're fighting for election integrity. And when the day comes that you can't fight for election integrity, you don't have a country anymore. So what happens? What
yeah,
happens is they went after their political opponent, me. Now Biden's, close to vegetable stage, in my opinion. Okay, I looked at him today on the beach, and I said, why would anybody allow him? The guy could barely walk. Why would anybody allow him? Does
yeah,
Go
he have a
after
political
Kamala,
advisor that thinks
not
this
Joe
looks
Biden.
good? He thinks this looks good because it looks so bad, and it's ridiculous. I mean, and he's been doing
right,
that
right,
for a long time. He can't lift the chair. The chair weighs about 3 ounces. It's meant for children and old people to lift, and he can't
yeah.
lift it. The whole thing is
Well,
crazy.
he's clearly not, I mean, he's clearly like we just don't have a president right
You
now.
don't
That's
have a
just obviously the
president, and
case.
she's going to be worse than him
Um,
because she is a San Francisco liberal who destroyed San Francisco, and then as Attorney General, she destroyed California. You talk about location, and we're talking about the sun and the water and all. There's nothing better than California. She has destroyed that. She was the original DA. She was the original in San Francisco. She was the original Attorney General in California. What she has done to California is, well, you know better than I do. You just left California for a lot of those reasons. And what she's done with crime, with cashless bail, where you kill somebody. I mean, we have states now you kill somebody and they let you out right away. I mean, you don't have to even put up, and then they never find the people unless they kill again, and then they let them out again. our
Yeah.
country is becoming a very dangerous place. And she is a radical left San Francisco liberal. And now she's trying to protect. Now she's looking like she wants to be more Trump than Trump, if that's possible. I don't think it's possible, but she wants to be more Trump than
Well,
Trump.
yeah.
I want a wall. I
I
want,
think that's
you know, she
yeah.
wants to release all the
Yeah.
prisoners that are in detention, and some of these guys are really bad.
Right.
That just came
Yeah, I
out
just saw
today.
that.
She
Yeah.
doesn't want to build the wall, even though the walls work. Walls and wheels. You know, in your business, everything you do is obsolete, almost, well, not the tunnels, but everything is obsolete. Even your rocket ships, they're like a month later, they're obsolete. You find a better way to. The only thing that's not obsolete is a wall and a wheel. And the wall, you know, I built hundreds of miles of wall, and that's why we had such good numbers. I was going to add
Yeah.
200 miles. We bought it. We could have flipped it up in 3 weeks, and they sold it for 5 cents on the dollar. That meant I said, "Wow, that means that they actually do want to have open borders." She wants to have open borders, and now she's going like she's tough on the border. It's such a lie.
Yeah, this is simply not true.
Yeah,
This is simply
no,
not
and
true.
everybody
Yeah,
knows
it's
it's
simply not
not true.
true.
It's a disgrace that she can
Yeah.
say it.
No, I mean, obviously, what's happening sort of overnight is they're rewriting history and making Kamala sound like a moderate when in fact she is far left, like far
Worse
left.
than Bernie
Um,
Sanders. She is considered more
yeah,
liberal by far than Bernie Sanders. She's a radical left lunatic. And if she's going to be our president, very quickly, you're not going to have a country anymore. And she'll go back to all of
yeah,
the things that she believes in. She believes in defunding the
Good point,
police.
Turtle.
She believes in no fracking, zero. You don't. Now all of a sudden
yeah,
she's
yeah,
saying, "No, I will. I really want to see fracking." If they got in, the day she got in, she'll end fracking. And by the way, if people didn't think that, the lunatics that really believe in that, they won't vote for her. You know. Like like the
yeah,
Palestinians and Israel. She is so anti-Israel, and she's bad for both. Biden actually did something that was impossible. Both sides hate him. You know, both sides. That was a hard
yeah.
thing to do. Unification.
Yeah, no. I mean, Netanyahu came to give a talk to a joint Senate and House sitting, and I was there, and Kamala stood him up. What does that say?
I think
Um,
it's highly
that's
disrespectful. And I say, if you're a Jewish person or if you believe in Israel, if you're a person that, you know, is a very pro-Israel, if you vote for her, it's worse than Biden. And Biden was bad. But if you vote for her, you ought to have your head examined. And you see tonight, I mean, as we're doing this, I'm
Taking
seeing reports
shots.
coming that they expect an attack tonight or tomorrow from hundreds and maybe thousands of rockets. You know, their Iron Dome, as they call it, as we all call it, but their shield that they build, that can be swamped. We'll use the term that's
yeah,
appropriate, swamped. But they
yeah.
swamp it by shooting enough missiles. You know this better than anybody. By shooting enough missiles,
So,
they can't defend themselves. You know, they just obliterate the whole
yeah,
place. And that's what some people think they're looking to do. And we have no leadership. There's no respect for the United States of America with these people. And I'm telling you,
yeah,
she'll be worse than him because she's a believer
yeah. No,
in
I
being
think you're right.
radical left, and he wasn't.
I think you're right. I mean, you really, it's important for the public that may be listening to this to look at Kamala's track record, before the last like month, and say, is that a track record you agree with? And I think if you're an independent moderate, you definitely would not agree with it, because it is her behavior has been far left, and we're seeing just an overnight propaganda attempt to rewrite history and make it sound like Kamala's moderate when she in fact is not moderate.
Well,
So I
her
think that,
running mate approved, signed into legislation, tampons in boys' bathrooms. Okay,
Trump should
now
just
yeah,
let
that's all
Elon
I
that's
have
weird.
to
speak
hear.
for a minute.
Tampons in
That's
boys'
weird.
bathrooms, and that means she
Yeah,
believes in that too. I mean,
yeah, that's
she
not
picked
okay.
this guy because he was the closest to her. A lot of people thought she'd pick sort of the opposite, but she picked an anti-Israel radical left person. But she is far worse, they say, than Bernie Sanders. If we have her as a president, if we have a Democrat at this moment as the president, I don't think our country can survive.
I think it's a massive. I think we're in massive trouble. frankly, with the Kamala administration, and that's my honest opinion. And I think really it's essential that you win for the good of the country for this election, and I mean that's understating my opinion. Now, you may have seen this, but I got a letter from the EU Commission, like saying,
Here we go.
to not have disinformation on the during this discussion that we're having, and there's a lot of attempts to do censorship and to force censorship even on Americans from other countries, and what do you think about that?
Well, I know the European Union very well. They take great advantage of the United States in trade, as you know. We, through a different forum, NATO, we protect them. And yet, if you build a car in the United States, you can't sell it in Europe. You just can't sell it. It's impossible. The same thing with our farmers. Our farmers find it very difficult to do business. We have a deficit with them of $250 billion, which people don't know. It sounds so nice, the European Union, but let me tell you, they're not as tough as China, but they're bad. And I let them know it. And that's probably why they notified you. No, they don't treat our country well. We defend them.
I just got stopped out.
With Ukraine. So we're in for 250 billion, and they're in for about 71 billion, and they have the same size. If you add up the European nations that in terms of an economy, it's about the same size. Wouldn't you say as us? And they're in,
Yeah,
and they're in much greater risk. They're right there. We have an ocean separating us from, in this case, the enemy would be Russia. It used to be for the
yeah,
Soviet Union, but let's assume they're close enough. And what happens is they're in for 70 something million. I think even less than that, billion, and we're in for about 250 billion, and it could be a lot higher than that. And I say, why aren't you going to equalize? Why aren't they paying what we're paying? And they're in much more, it's much more important for them because of the fact that, they're right near there. I mean, they're all sort of in that location. We're not. But they
yeah,
should, they should, and I did it with NATO. There were only 7 countries that were paid up in NATO out of 28 at the time. And the United States
yeah,
was subsidizing.
yeah,
The United States was subsidizing NATO, tremendously subsidizing NATO. And I went
yeah,
in and I said, you
yeah,
got to pay up. If you don't pay up, we're not going to defend you any longer. I took a lot of heat, but you know what happened? Billions and billions of dollars came flowing in, and
yeah. I think a lot of the public isn't aware of the fact that the United States pays a disproportionate share of the NATO expenses,
and then we get
even though,
taken
like,
advantage of on trade. So think
yeah,
about it.
well, I mean, the point of NATO is defending Europe, and it's it's like, then okay, well, why is the United States paying disproportionately more to defend Europe than Europe? That doesn't make sense. That's unfair, and that is an appropriate thing to address.
Well,
Um,
when you talk about
so
cost cutting and savings and everything else, I mean, honestly, look, there's nobody that feels worse about the Ukraine situation than I do because I know it would have never happened. I know Zelensky. He was very honorable to me because when they went with the Russia hoax and they said I had a phone call with him, he said it was a perfect phone call. It was a great phone call. He could have grandstanded and, said, oh, he was very threatening. He said, no, it was a very nice phone call. I called him up to congratulate him on his win, and you end up getting impeached because these people are
yeah, yeah,
lunatics. I was talking about the difference from the people within and the enemies on the outside. In many cases, the people from within are more dangerous for our country than the Russias and the Chinas. If you have a smart president, you're not going to have a problem with them. You're going to do things.
yeah,
I
Now,
want to
they've
see what the
taken
media is
advantage
saying
yeah,
of
about
us
this
absolutely.
already.
incredibly, but you're going to do things with the right person.
Yeah, well, I think it's obvious that you're a believer and an advocate of free speech, because during your first term as president, you were attacked relentlessly every day,
Told
often
you they were
very
going to focus
unfairly,
on the
with
technical issues.
with false attacks, and you didn't try to shut down the media. You didn't try to uh, inhibit their freedom of speech, and I think that says a lot.
Well, the good thing is that you and I have, and some people, very few, we can get the word out. Although sometimes it's hard because they don't want to print it, like Like we're having a great conversation right now. Kamala wouldn't have this conversation. She can't because she's not
No.
smart. You know, she's not a smart person, by the way. She can't have this conversation. And Biden, we don't even have to talk about it. I mean, he couldn't have this conversation. He would have given up on the first half of a question. He would have walked out. He would have said, "Where am I? Where am I going?" So anyway, but
Yeah,
no, he wouldn't have this.
that's true.
Not a lot of people would have this conversation, but you know, we cover a lot of territory. But the beauty is that you know, we can have a conversation, and
Yes, you can
I'm
actually
able
have a
to get it out
conversation.
without because I get
This
treated
is a
unfairly
this
by
is a
the
really
press.
big point. You can actually have a conversation with you,
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it?
and you can't have a conversation with Biden or Kamala. It's like not it's not possible.
That's true.
Um,
It's
so this is like talking to an NPC. So
no.
it's just
Well,
impossible.
but think of it. We need a man or person who's unbelievably sharp in order to stop all the nuclear danger and all the dangers that I'm talking about. And I got along with all these. You know, I got along with Kim Jong Un. We had dinner, we had everything, and he really liked me, and I got along with him really well. By the way, he's the absolute boss over there. You know, a lot of people said, "Oh, do you think he really?"
That's for
Let me
sure.
tell you, I saw things that you don't want to know about. He is the boss, but you know, we had a good relationship, and he doesn't like Biden. He considers him a stupid man. He said he's a stupid man. Well, at least he speaks his mind. But you know, in this country, you're not sort of allowed to say it, but I guess you are. You should be allowed to say it if
Yeah,
it's true. But we need smart people, and we need people that have an ability to lead. And she doesn't have that ability. Can you imagine? Now, you know
yeah.
Chairman Xi very well. Can you imagine her and him negotiating or
No, it's
even
silly. It would be
standing
silly.
together? It is, the whole
Yeah,
concept is ridiculous. She is terrible. She's terrible. But she's getting a free ride. I
it
saw a
would.
picture of her
Yeah, yeah,
on Time Magazine today. She looks like the most beautiful actress ever to live. It was a drawing, and
yeah,
actually,
yeah.
she looked very much like our great first lady, Melania. She looked, didn't look,
Yeah.
she didn't look like Camilla. That's right. But of course, she's a beautiful woman,
Illuminati.
so we'll leave it at that, right?
Yeah, well, maybe like I think part of what.
I understand what they're trying to do. I really do. But they should have walked into this with some type of game plan and then stuck on script to that game plan. They said this was just a normal conversation, but they should have said that and made it something not a normal conversation.
About the future,
They want the
and I
American
think
dream
just
back. You know, they want the American dream back. More important than anything else. It's like you don't have that today because the people, they've been just sucked. They see incompetent people running our. You know, the Biden thing is very interesting. People just found him to be incompetent, and when I debated him, I was like, "Is this for real?" It was
yeah, it was just absurd. But I think there are like some grand projects that we could do. I mean, I think like we could build a base on the moon. We could send American astronauts to Mars. We
right.
could build high speed
Yep,
connections that are more advanced than anything else in the world between our cities, so people have fast transport. Um, that it's possible to solve traffic with tunnels.
that's right.
We already made great progress in Vegas doing that, and and just do things that are exciting and inspiring and make the future feel like it's better than the past.
Well, I saw what you
Like,
did in Vegas, and I'll tell you, it was amazing. I got to see. I took a big glimpse at it, and it's incredible. You know, it's incredible, and you could do that all over. You could do that all over. It's deep.
yeah,
You
and
don't
that's
even need much structure. You know, assuming you're in the right areas.
no, it's
It's
straightforward.
amazing.
So like I think we could do some things that like China's got incredible high speed rail between its cities, but I think it's actually possible with tunnels if with deregulation with an ability to actually where it's like legal to actually do the tunnels. Then you could have high speed tunnels that are actually better than anything else in the world for high speed transport between
Yeah,
cities, and that would be something that Americans can say, "Wow, okay, we've got something that's cooler than anyone else in the
yeah.
world." That's the kind of thing that makes you proud to be an
And
American.
much safer than surface trains where there is a danger there, you know, with people, with crazy
Yeah,
people. It's much safer, much better. And, you know, it's sad because I've seen some of the greatest trains. I find it fascinating. And I've seen the systems and how they work and the bullet trains, they call them, I guess. And
yeah,
they go unbelievably fast, unbelievably comfortable, with no problems. And we don't have anything like that in this country, not even close. And
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense that we don't. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and I think also like there's I'm kind of hopping on the excess regulation, but I think something that um that I think people can generally understand is that what happens with laws and regulations is that there's more and more of them every year, and unless there's a process to clean them up, eventually everything becomes
You're right.
illegal, and that actually it slows down the development of new technologies. I mean, if you take the sort of like I think there's room for some reform at the FDA
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
improving the speed with which we approve drugs that could help save lives and improve people's
Yeah.
lives. And
I worked very
and
hard on that.
you know
We got that down
yeah,
to the lowest number ever, and we got therapeutics approved in the FDA that people can't even believe the speed. But I took them on. I don't think they like me too much, but I got things approved in the FDA at numbers that they wouldn't believe. And it's a very bureaucratic group. Actually, it's a fine group of people in many cases. I got to know a lot of them, but I was pushing them really hard for Regeneron, for so many different things that were really pretty amazing. But the FDA takes too long. It's 12 years to get a product approved. I got it down to 4, and I
yeah.
got some things done very quickly. But it's really something that is going to have to be worked on because it takes too long. Just takes too long.
Yeah, it just takes too long, and it's you end up in the same with the approval, but it's just it takes years instead of something that I think could potentially take
Yeah,
months, that improves people's lives. I
yeah,
think but I just wanted to sort of hop on this point that like there has to be an active process for reducing rules and regulations, because otherwise they just keep building up every year, and
yep,
you get like hardening of the arteries, and eventually everything's illegal, or takes forever, and then we just ossify as a society. Uh, we can't make any
yeah.
progress, and that's it's a really big
Well,
deal.
Elon, just
So
getting back to the FDA for 1 second, I got something done called Right to Try. This is where you can go in, and if you're terminally ill, you can use a space age,
I like this policy a lot.
medicine or whatever it may be. We have the best doctors, the best labs in the world. We really do. And but people would go to other countries because you couldn't use the product, even if they thought it worked, because it's going through the FDA. I got it approved
yeah,
where you can
yeah,
you basically you look, nobody wanted, the doctors didn't want it because of the liability, the country didn't want it, our country, because they didn't want to get sued. These are people terminally ill. The insurance companies didn't want it, and the pharmaceutical companies, nobody wanted it. I got everybody into a room, and we came up with an agreement that you won't get sued. And also, they didn't want it on their record. If somebody's terminally ill and they die after taking a drug, they didn't want that on their record. So we set a separate list. If somebody was, so it wouldn't count as a negative.
yeah,
Okay. And as you know, we got it
yeah,
done. We have saved Right to Try. They've been trying to get this done for 58
yeah,
years. And it sounds simple, but it wasn't, because I mean, the insurance companies, nobody wanted it, but we got it done.
sure,
Somebody signs, you sign a document that you're not going to sue the insurance companies, the country, you're not going to sue anybody. And we got it done. And we're saving tens of thousands of lives. Right to Try. Hopefully you never need it. But if you
yeah,
do, you don't have to travel to Asia. People,
right,
if they had money, they go to
yeah,
Asia, they go
sure,
to Europe. If they don't have money, they go home and die. That's what happened. They'd go home and
yeah.
die.
Well, I mean, and actually, to give Europe some props here, it's like if a drug is approved in Europe, which has a crazy amount of regulations, it should obviously be approved in the U.S.
Yeah.
I mean, they get more regulations than we do. So why would a drug be approved in Europe and not in the U.S.? That's crazy.
Well, we did it. We did
Um,
something that really, they've been trying to do it for 50 years, and they just couldn't get it done. And I got it done. And it's really something. But you're right. Some people go to Europe because a drug isn't approved here, but it's approved in Europe. And it's a drug that, generally speaking, would
yeah,
work. It's pretty crazy. You're
absolutely.
right.
And I think so, as long as people are properly informed of the pros and cons, and like these are the risks, this is the risk, and like you make your own decision.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Well, I think just,
So
in sort of closing up, and by the way, I'm looking at the numbers. You got a lot of people listening. I hope you don't get
yeah,
nervous, because you got a lot of people listening to you right now. Like 60 million or something. What is that number? It's crazy. It's amazing how you
Oh,
can
sorry.
see that right away. How many? What is the number? Wow.
1.1 million. That's
What is it?
60.
Well,
Wow.
I think in
Wow,
terms of people
that's a big,
that
that's bigger than you said. You said 25 and you're much more than double that number, 25 million. I think you're going to be 60 or 70. And I guess over a period of time, hey, I congratulate you. Do I get paid for this or not?
Trump
well,
is fundraising off of
I
this.
think actually in terms of the number of people that will hear this conversation over the next few days to
Right.
weeks, it's going to be
He
hundreds.
That's
might
what
be
they
talking
say.
about
Yeah, that's good. Well,
impressions.
look, it's an
Yeah.
honor.
You check it out.
I just asked this, are you better off now or were you better off when I was president? Nobody's better off now. People, we put out polls on that and nobody's better off now. Inflation has killed it. And they also feel
He's
very
talking about
unsafe. You look
impressions,
at what's
67
going on
million.
with a lot of different things. You look at the riots we had at the
Yeah.
colleges over, I mean, it's ridiculous, but
Right.
all of the riots, they just feel unsafe. And now they really feel unsafe because you have a new form of crime. It's called migrant crime. I call it Biden
Well,
migrant
yeah.
crime. Maybe I'll call it
Well,
Kamala migrant crime. But
I mean, with all these things, I always try to get to the ground truth by just asking people. And my mom lives in New York, and I was like, Mom, have any of your friends, been attacked or assaulted? And she said, yeah, three of her friends in three separate
crazy.
incidents were assaulted just in recent months, just walking around the streets of New York. And I said, well, what happened to the people that assaulted them? Oh, nothing. They got away. Like, and they just
They
know that
always get away.
nothing's going to, and they don't even bother reporting it because there's not, they know that they're not going to, people are not going to get prosecuted. They just let, violent criminals out in New York
The only one
with
that gets
zero bail.
prosecuted is Donald Trump. They prosecute Trump.
Yeah, I mean it's just obviously messed
Oh,
up
it's terrible.
if violent criminals are being getting off scot
Yeah.
free, and meanwhile the New York spending massive resources prosecuting you, and it's like this, and I think the sort of sensible public looks at this and says, what the heck's going on here? This is obviously abuse of the legal system. The legal system is supposed to be protecting the public
right.
from violent criminals, and it should be obviously allowing the public to make their own decision about who should be president, as opposed to some legal case.
Once they start this precedent, because this can go on with the next one. I mean, this is a very bad precedent what they're doing in terms of going after their political opponent, and that's all it is. It's going after their political opponent,
Yeah.
and then you get a judge who's a strong Democrat, and I'm being nice when I say that. In many cases, crooked as hell. But you get a judge and you go into an area where a Republican gets 3 or 4% of the vote, and you'll have a jury pool
Yeah.
with people that hate Republicans or hate. It could
Sure.
also be the other way though,
Of course.
because it could start the other way in areas where they hate
Exactly.
Democrats, and you get into a
Yep.
Pandora's box. It's a very dangerous thing for this country, and a very dangerous thing even for the state. New York City is
Yep.
losing. New York
Absolutely.
City and state lose a lot of business over what they did to me, because these people say we don't want that to happen to us. That's no justice system. You have an unfair system of
Yes.
justice, and it's costing New York State a tremendous amount of money. People are leaving and companies are leaving, and they won't come back. So all of that stuff is important, but the economy now is the big thing, and we can turn
I
that
think this has
economy
been
up
going
so
on
fast,
2 hours
and people
now.
are going to be back again. We're going to get rid of
Yeah.
inflation.
I think there's a lot of opportunity.
Right.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So
And I just
I,
want to
I
I want to
think
congratulate you. You've done an amazing job. You have definitely got a fertile mind. We can talk. You and I can talk about rockets and
it's kind of you to say thank you.
tunnels. We can talk about tunnels and rockets and electric cars. So many things. And now you're into the AI, and that's going to be another beauty, I'll say. So
Yeah.
it's an amazing thing you've
Looks
done,
like they're
Elon.
wrapping up with no
It's an
Bitcoin
amazing
talk,
thing, and I
unfortunately.
congratulate you.
I mean, thank you. And well, I mean, I just say here, here's to an exciting, inspiring future that people can look forward to and be optimistic and excited about what happens next. And that's the kind of future that I think you will bring as president, and that's why I endorse you.
Well, I appreciate that. That endorsement meant a lot to me. Not all endorsements mean that much, to be honest. Your endorsement meant a lot. And, you know, we have a phrase, make America great again. It's pretty simple, but it really says that we want to make America great again. And we can do it. We can do it now. But if we were going to suffer another 4 years like we've suffered for the last 4 years, I'm not sure the country can ever come back. That's how bad it is. It's so bad. We have to do a
I
lot of
think that's a
things.
very real
Yeah,
risk.
it's a big
That's a
risk.
very real risk.
Yeah.
And it's, I'd just like to note to people listening, like I've not been very political before, and if you look at my record, I've actually been. I'm not like, sometimes they try to paint me as like a far right guy, which is absurd because I'm like making electric vehicles and solar and batteries, helping with the environment, and and I actually I supported Obama. I stood in line for 6 hours to shake Obama's hand when he was running for president, and so it's not like I'm like some sort of dyed in the wool long term Republican. I'd call myself, uh, historically a moderate Democrat, but now I feel like we're really at a critical juncture for the country, and uh, I think a lot of people thought the Biden administration would be a moderate administration, but it's not, and obviously we're just going to see an even further left uh, administration with Kamala. That's my honest opinion. I mean, her dad is literally. I mean, she was brought up as an actual. Her dad is a Marxist economist. You can Google it. I mean, it's not a. We're not making this up. That's how she was brought up. So, and we want to have a future that is prosperous, and I think we're just at this critical juncture, and I think this is a case of the America is kind of at a fork in the road,
It's true.
and I think it will take the path to, like, you are the path to prosperity, and I think Kamala is the opposite. Then that's my honest opinion. I'm gonna get attacked like crazy, and I've also experienced quite a bit of lawfare myself, and but I'm just trying to tell people my honest opinion, and I haven't been really active in politics before, and I'm just trying to point out that my track record historically has been moderate, if not moderate, slightly left. And so this is to people out there who are in the moderate camp to say, I think you should support um, Donald Trump for president. And I think it's actually a very important junction in the road, and we're in deep trouble if it goes the other way.
Well, I want to thank you. And, you know, I actually always did think of you as somewhat left. I must say that. So it's
Yeah.
even more of an
Well,
honor to have
yeah.
your endorsement. I know how strong you feel about it. But, you know, when you think of her, San Francisco, 15 years ago, I had a great friend, Bob Tish. He said it's the greatest city in America, and now it's almost not livable there. And California likewise. And she was involved in the destruction of San Francisco and the destruction of California, and she will be involved in the destruction of our country
Good
if
point, Steve.
people are so unwise as to elect her. And I hope that doesn't happen, and I hope the elections are going to be run honestly, and we're going to turn this country around. We're going to do things and we can do it fairly quickly. And we have to get rid of the criminals that have been, given to us by other countries as they laugh. They laugh at
Yeah.
us. They think we're stupid to accept these people. These are radical, stone cold killers in many cases and terrorists. And they're in our country by the hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
And we have to take
Yeah.
them out.
Yeah, I mean, if I could summarize it, perhaps, I think these are issues that I think most people in America would agree with, which is that we want safe and clean cities, we want secure borders, we want sensible government spending, we want to restore both the perception and reality of respect in the judicial system, just stop the lawfare, and I think that's like, and how are those even right wing positions? I think those are that's just common sense, and that's I mean, would you agree with that?
100%. I don't understand, the whole, they call it progressive. They don't like the word liberal anymore, but call it liberal or progressive. I don't understand how somebody could say that it's okay for them to empty prisons into our country. And again, I told you their
Yeah,
crime rates
definitely
all
not
over the world
okay.
are going way down, which makes sense. In fact, the next time what we'll do is if something happens with this election, which would be a horror show, we'll meet the next time in Venezuela because it'll be a far safer place to meet than our country. Okay, so we'll go. You and I will
Oh,
go, and we'll
damn.
have a meeting and dinner in Venezuela. because that's what's happening. Their crime rate's coming down and our crime rate's going through the roof. And it's so simple. And you haven't seen anything yet because these people have come into our country and they're just getting acclimated. And they don't know about being politically correct law enforcement or lack of law enforcement. And our police, I have to just end with this. We have great police. We have great law enforcement, but they're not allowed to do their job. They have to be able to do their
Yeah.
job without being destroyed.
Well, absolutely, and it's obviously demoralizing if you're a police officer risking your life to to arrest violent criminals who could kill you and do kill you sometimes, and then you arrest the violent criminal and then the DA doesn't prosecute and that's let the guy out.
Yeah.
Well, then like why should a police officer risk their life
Peach
to
edibles.
arrest a violent felon
Well, even worse,
if
Elon,
nothing's going to happen?
even worse, they
I felt like I
prosecute the
was
police
wrapping up, but then
officer.
they geared back up to talk
They
more.
they go after it and they prosecute the police officer and they take away his pension. They take away his
Yeah.
job. He loses his family. He loses his house.
Well, I thought it was very telling, like incredibly telling, that when there was that case where sort of a gang of thugs beat up police officers. I think it was in Times
Yep.
Square in New York, and and then nothing happened to those guys. They were let out, zero bail, and I think a bunch of them were given free tickets to California. Well, what is
Why
I
would
mean
they do that?
that is a gross indignity against the United States, and that's how. I mean, this is insane. Like, have we lost all pride? What that? How can such a thing be allowed to occur?
I've never seen anything.
You know?
We see where they get shot. It's a very dangerous profession, but it's something they're very proud of, and they want to be able to do their job. But I've seen them get shot. I've seen a lot of things, but I've never seen where these guys are standing in the middle of a big street, everybody watching them, and they're literally boxing, like punching, stand up fighting a police officer. There were two of them, and
Yeah,
yet about six
yeah,
of
yeah.
these guys, and they're punching the hell out of them. And in their own country, they would be dead if they did that. They'd be shot. They
Yes.
would be shot instantly. And they come from these countries, and it's taking them a while to realize that we don't do that in this country. But in their own
Yeah.
country, if they stood on a street and had a fight with a police officer, they would be shot. There's no political correctness. And it's such a sad,
Yeah. It's
it's
just
such a sad thing to see. And that's the reason you have crime, by the way,
yeah,
because we don't do anything about
yeah.
it.
Yeah, we just cannot have a
No, he's winner.
situation where our police officers are beaten up on camera by a gang of illegal immigrants, and then nothing happens to the guys that beat up the cops. I mean, and they're let out. This is
Well, we're going to
unacceptable.
change it,
Um,
and we're going to get them out of the country. When I first got involved, they said you couldn't get them back to these countries. You couldn't take them back. In the case of Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, some others,
I'm running out of
you
drink.
couldn't get them back. And I said, really? Oh, you can't get them back because under Obama, he couldn't get them back. They'd fly them in, and they'd put planes on the runways in these countries, so you couldn't land the plane. They'd bring them back. And the generals told me, sir, we can't bring them back. The countries won't accept MS-13 gang members. They won't accept them. And I said, really, how much do we pay these various countries in terms of economic aid, which is also somewhat ridiculous? And the answer was $750 million. I said, good. Tell them they're in default. They're delinquent. We're not paying them anymore because they won't accept
yeah,
it.
it's
And you know what happened? They all called me,
yeah,
every one
yeah,
of them. They said, we would be honored to take them back, sir. We would be honored. It was so
Honored,
easy.
Jesus.
But it's one of those things. And we got it back. We took in so many, the MS-13 is probably
yeah,
the worst gangs in the world. They're the most vicious, violent. We took them
I would
out
love
of
to
here
see
by the
Kennedy have a
thousands
discussion like
and
this
got
with
them out
Elon
of here. And their countries took them back.
and
And
Kamala. I'd like to
because I
have them all.
said, you're not
Honestly,
getting
all
any
of them.
more economic aid.
More
And
information is
once I
better than
said
less
that, they
information.
were nice. They wouldn't take them back for
yeah,
Obama. They
yeah.
wouldn't take them back for anybody. And now we have a problem because we have this guy, and they don't take him back anymore with Biden
No
because
worries,
they don't
Pepper.
respect him.
Yeah, yeah. It's just gotta be done. We just can't have whether they're citizens or not citizens. We can't have because they won't prosecute citizens either. Not just illegals. So that if it's you can't have violent repeat violent offenders that are not that don't get
That's
incarcerated
right.
because they will obviously by definition continue to hurt people. And I think where part of this comes from is that there's, and I do sort of consider myself liberal in some ways. I mean, it's just that you want to have empathy for
Right.
people. Obviously, you want to have empathy for people. I totally agree with that. You want to have empathy, but you also have to have empathy for the victims of the criminals. And if you just have empathy for the criminals, it's actually shallow empathy. It's not real. You're not thinking. You have one layer deep empathy. You got to say, like, what if you don't incarcerate this person? Who are they going to hurt? Who are they might kill someone. They might rape someone. If you don't incarcerate them, you have to have empathy for the victims. And there's a lack of empathy for the victims of the criminals, and too much empathy for the criminals. It doesn't make sense. That's why you want to have deep empathy for society as a whole, not shallow empathy for
That's right.
criminals.
And we have to give our police officers the dignity and the respect that they deserve. And we have to let them do their job. They can do a great job, but we have to let them do their job. And if we don't do that, it's going to all disappear. There's never been a society like this where you're allowed to do anything you want and nothing happens. And I'm talking about violent crime. And it's going to get more violent because these are really, really violent people. And we're going to get them out of our country, and we're going to get them back to because they were sent here by the presidents and by the various people that run those countries. And I know every one of those guys. And they're smart people, and they're streetwise people. And they really think that the USA is stupid. They think we're run by stupid people, and they happen to be right. But when I was there, we had no problem. We got them out. We took out thousands of MS-13 gang members. We brought them back. And now, again, it's the same old story. We don't do it. And they actually gave them a big increase in aid. They raised it up to billions of dollars, and they get nothing for it. So, it's. I hope everybody's going to vote for Trump, and we're going to get this country straight. And
Yeah.
I didn't need this.
I,
I'm
This is
like you. I
another
didn't need
wind
this.
down here.
I had a very
Another
nice
wind down.
life. I
Let's
didn't
see what
need
happens.
to go
yeah,
through
yeah.
court systems and go through all the other stuff and run at the
Sure.
same time. I have to run. I have to go through fake trials with, in some cases, corrupt judges, totally corrupt judges. I didn't need it. I had a nice life. I have great locations. I have beautiful oceans that I have places. This was, but I felt it was important. And if I had to do it over again, you probably think I'm crazy for doing it, actually. But if I had to do it over again, I would have done it over again, because this is so much more important than me or my life. We're going to save this country. This country is going down. And these people are bad people that we're running against, and they're liars. They make statements. They do things that are so bad. They say they're going to make a strong border. They say they've been great on the border, and they've been the worst in history. They say they're
Yeah,
going to
it's
stop
horrible. Like
crime,
the
and
facts speak for themselves. The
it's so
facts
incredible.
speak for themselves. Like it's gotten to the point where people just don't even bother reporting crime in a lot of
That's
cities
right.
because they know nothing is going to happen. Um, that's what I hear anecdotally from people all the time. So it's
Here's
just
what's
my
trending.
values. I'm just saying to people out there, like the things I think are important for the future is like we've got to have safe cities, we've got to have secure borders, we've got to have sensible spending, and we've got to have deregulation, and
Right.
so we can have a prosperous future. And then we want to have some exciting, sort of moonshot projects that people can get fired up about. And that's the future I'm looking for. And I'm pro environment, but I'm not against. I'm not like I don't think we should vilify the oil and gas industry because they're keeping civilization going right now, and but I do think we want to move at a reasonable speed towards a sustainable energy economy. Those are my values, and I think and so I mean that's uh, why I'm supporting you for president.
Well, I
So
appreciate it. We're going to give incentive to companies to come into our country, not to leave our country. We're going to be giving tremendous incentives. We want companies to build here, not to build in other locations. And we want to create jobs. And again, it's about the American dream. You don't hear about the American dream anymore, Elon. You don't hear. You're the American dream in the truest sense, but you don't hear about the American dream anymore. And you're going to hear about it. People, they need that incentive to go out
yeah.
and do it. And they're going to love their lives. I mean, they're going to look forward to getting up in the morning and going to a job that they love, not a job that they can't stand, or not any job at all where they have no money, where they literally have no money, and then they end up with violence and lots of other problems. No, we're
Yeah.
gonna do some great things. And I learned a lot in the first. We had a great economy and all of that. We rebuilt the military, we did so much. But I also learned, and I also learned the best people. I learned the good people, the smart people, the dumb people, the people that can do things, the people, you learn. When I first came in, I tell people I was in Washington, D.C. only 17 times, according to the fake news media. I was in 17 times. I never stayed over. And you don't know people. You rely on other people to give you names, and then you realize the people you relied on weren't so good. Now, we had great people, but we also had some where I wouldn't have, used them had I known. Now I
Yeah.
know everybody. And I think we're going to really turn things around fast. We have no choice. Otherwise, we're not going to have a country. And I really appreciate this. Has been, to me, it's been a lot of fun being with you. You're an amazing guy. You've done an incredible job and a
Winding
great
down a little bit,
inspiration to
winding
people.
down.
A great inspiration. And I hope you keep going and just continue to do well. And we're going to have a big election coming up. And I think November 5th will be the most important day in the history of our country. I think that election will be the most important election. And I think it'll end up being maybe the most important day in the history of our country, because if
Yeah.
we don't win, I just feel so sorry for everybody.
No, I think we're at a fork in the road of destiny of civilization, and I think we need to take the right path, and I think you're the right path. So I think
Well,
that's what it comes down to.
thank you very much, Elon. It's a great honor, and we'll do it again sometime. And it's been really fun, and I hope you got a lot of viewers. I hear you got a lot, but I hope you
Sure.
got
Yeah.
I know you got a lot of them. So I appreciate it. I'll see you soon.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you, Elon. Thank you very much. Bye.
I like how he says bye like everybody else. Bye. Bye. All right, so Donald Trump just muted himself. Elon Musk is still openly a speaker, but he hasn't left yet. That appears to be the end of it. Donald Trump can go to sleep now. It's like 11 o'clock his time. Now, guys, now that we've kind of seen this all, make sure to first like the stream so I can say you guys liked it. But I want you guys to vote because we're pretty close here. About 48% of you guys said it was a good conversation. 36% said it was okay, and 16% said it was bad. Now, as far as a conversation, I think it was actually good. As far as a strategic political campaign event, I thought it was just okay. Maybe just fair, if that's what you want to call it. They're right underneath okay. But I don't think it was meant to be that. I think Trump's campaign staff thought it was meant to be that. But, it was just kind of a nice little conversation here. But really, I'm interested to hear what you guys think about it. Let me know in the comments down below. I'll kind of read some of them out loud here. This was a very long conversation. This was like 2.5 hours of going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. They had disagreements, which I kind of enjoyed, especially around climate change and what's going on with electric vehicles. They had disagreements, and they respected each other's disagreements, and then kind of moved on to the next topic after kind of sharing their viewpoints a few times. I like when you can see that happen. Excuse me. So I thought that was actually pretty good. On top of that, we had some talk about immigration. We had some talk about... oh my god, hold on. Here, we're going to take a quick 10-second Loki break and give Loki a treat. He had to wait a little bit of time, I get. Excuse me. Can I just pet you like a nice little dog? Yeah, look at him. He's a nice little doggo. Yeah. Doesn't even care about me, honestly. He only cares when I'm in danger or I have food. Or he wants to cuddle. Well, what do you want? He's trying to sneak along the other side. He's like, I can't go over there. Oh, you're coming over to me not because of the treat, right? Can I just have this one for once? What? Don't be doing that. All right. Hey, can you sit? Let it be known that he did in fact sit. Now. Good boy. Damn! He didn't bite my finger, but he came freaking close. Yeah, there's some crumbs in my paw, not my paw, my hand. There you go. All right. But yeah, let me know what you guys think right now. This was definitely an interesting one here. Yeah, chilling with Mike was good. Yeah, guys, I mean, honestly, I don't like to listen to these things all too much. I kind of just listen to get a vibe of who people are. I already have a pretty good idea who Donald Trump is. I already have a pretty good idea of who Elon Musk is. But I still like to listen to these types of events with you guys, especially when the market's kind of calm. We all kind of want to see what's going on here. And I know a lot of people on crypto, especially since I've been at a couple of the big crypto conventions, they really vibe with Donald Trump because he's like anti-Gary Gensler, basically. That being said, if Kamala Harris comes on with Elon Musk, I will happily listen to them all the same with you guys. If RFK comes on with Elon, I think he might have already done that. I will also be there to stream with you guys, right? So I'm hoping that we will hear more opportunities like this. If there are other events like this, I will like to listen to them as well. It's usually a little bit easier with Twitter Spaces because everything is usually pretty easy for me to manage. If there is like a campaign event with Kamala Harris or Donald Trump or something, I'm not going to cover it. First of all, they do so many events, you guys can fucking watch those things yourselves. And also, they play a lot of non-safe YouTube music, which means if I get caught playing the music on YouTube, YouTube could terminate my stream and it can give me a strike. So I don't want to deal with that. So I don't deal with that. Just so you guys know. It was Adrian Dittman. Who is that? Smash like. Appreciate that, guys. Tap that like, please, very, very much. So, there are many trumped up charges. Hey, we're in a good chit chat right there. 45, don't laugh. Moon time. Slav Ukraine. What's right here? That was cool. I saw the roof tiles. Oh, for houses. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of stuff they talked about, right? But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it for the day, guys. I feel like it was a pretty productive stream. I enjoyed chatting with you guys for a bit. If you guys haven't done it already, please make sure to subscribe. I am going to be, I have a few things set up here. I need to turn it back on here, but I turned it off just because I think it makes a sound or something. But I do have subscribers back on. Yeah, so now when you guys subscribe, you guys will get a little notification like that, so it'll be pretty chill. But yeah, so I'm going to end the stream right now. Hey, Tim, I appreciate that. That really was a first on social media worldwide, no teleprompters. I don't like teleprompters, to be honest. I don't like it. I think that's why I kind of like naturally kind of go towards Trump, because although he's kind of all over the place, let's kind of admit it, I don't feel that same establishment ire that I have. I don't, like, let me say this like this. I liked Donald Trump more than some of the more establishment characters like Chris Christie during the last primary back in like 2016 when they were all going at it. But I also vibed with Bernie Sanders over Joe Biden, right? And it wasn't so much the policies that I was concerned about. It's just how do I feel about this general person? And then once you go into policies, you can kind of determine you want to be more conservative, more liberal, all that type of stuff, right? You can decide yourselves. I'm not here to tell you guys who to vote for. You guys are obviously a little bit of conservative, a little bit of liberal, a little bit of moderate. That's perfectly fine. You guys do whatever the fuck is best for you. But in these circumstances, I just love hearing this type of stuff, and I feel like it's good. As far as tomorrow's stream, I am going to be streaming at 5 o'clock, going back to the same time here. It'll be 5 to 6. Wednesday, we'll be doing 2 streams, I suppose. No, I don't want to wake up early for CPI Day. I'm so sorry, no. I will do an early morning stream, maybe around 11 o'clock my time, so like afternoon time, Eastern time. And then I'll probably do a 5 o'clock stream on Wednesday as well. And then Thursday, another stream. Friday, I'm going to stream just because I'm going to be gone Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So I will go on my mini vacation for myself there. And then I'll be streaming again next Thursday. I will be making tons of content, like video content with you guys. I'm going to bring my gimbal. I'm going to have my phone out. I'll be talking about the market every freaking day and giving you guys updates along with the Telegram channel here. But streams will be shut down for a hot minute here unless I could figure out a way to get my laptop up and running. I mean, I think it works. I think the charge, I think when you have a battery for so long, it kind of just dies. So you have to have the charger in there. And that's probably the thing I have to do. But yeah, so I'll see you guys a little bit later. Thank you guys so much for watching the stream. Mr. Free Treat over here is still licking his lips. Loki, come here. Yeah, he's coming back for more treats, but there's nothing in my hand. And so he ignores me, right? Well, he actually just puts his head on my lap and he's like, hey, please give me a treat. But then I say no. He's not getting a treat for like another 24 hours after all the freaking treats I gave him. He's very fit, if you guys hadn't noticed, but I still try to keep his diet under control. Especially since I'm dieting, I shouldn't be able to. If I can't be gluttonous, neither can he, right? Loki, come here.